Thank you for coming to my channel. Today's what if is what if Naruto was in DC. I hope you enjoy. Kara, I'm really not sure I want to hear it. I mean, you're supposed to still be in your honeymoon phase. Why do I sense a but in your description? Everything is supposed to be all roses and flowers. Alex Danvers, Kara Zor-El's sister, said worriedly. We definitely are in the honeymoon phase, and yes, the sex has been absolutely amazing. I feel like I've had thousands of orgasms in just 4 days. But no, Kara, no buts. I won't accept it. I won't let you taint my perfect image of Naruto Uzumaki. Alex said as she childishly covered her ears with her hands. It's Uzumaki Naruto, that's how the Japanese say it, it's also how he says it. But anyway, that's not the point. Alex, I need you to listen to me right now. You're the only one I can talk to about this. Kara pleaded, causing Alex to release a heavy sigh as she eventually relented, removing her hands from her ears so that she can listen to her sister's concerns. Did he do something weird in bed? Alex asked tentatively. No. Well, sort of, just listen. Okay, listen to the whole story and then tell me if I'm crazy or not. Kara replied. Okay, I'm listening. Alex retorted. Okay, well, you know that I have dated 2 guys before Naruto-kun, and you know that I have never had an orgasm before I was with Naruto-kun. What you don't know is that, before Naruto-kun and I. Wait. Do you have to say kun all the time? Why do you keep doing that? It's weird. Alex said with a raised eyebrow. Well, initially it was just a way for me to tease and irritate him, but I ended up liking it and he also likes it, especially when we. Okay. Don't finish that sentence. I get it. I can see how it could be a turn on to him when you know. Alex said uncomfortably, a tinge of red manifesting on each one of her cheeks as she blushed in embarrassment. Okay, good, now listen. What I never told you was that none of those guys were able to break my hymen. So not only did I not get orgasms but my hymen remained intact. I had actually given up on ever having a, I don't want to say fulfilling but in like normal relationship with a human, until now. Kara explained. But Kara, why did you never tell me this before? Alex asked, unable to believe that her sister had been carrying such a burden for such a long time without ever telling her. Because it just reminded me of how not normal I am, of how alien I am. And how different I am from you. I didn't like how it made me feel and I didn't want it to make you feel like I was. I know you know what I mean, right? Kara asked with pain and sadness in her tone. I don't think I can ever fully understand, but I think I kinda do. Alex replied. But what changed? Why was Naruto able to break your hymen when others couldn't? Alex asked, confused. After all, if the presumption was, absurd as it sounded, that human penises were not strong enough to tear through a Kryptonian's hymen, then why was Naruto, a human, able to tear through her sister's hymen when others couldn't? What made him so special? I don't know. And honestly, I didn't care. I didn't even care that he wouldn't allow me to have any remotely dominant position or any position that might give me any level of control, because it was so good, you know. I thought it didn't matter because I was having the time of my life and I was with the man that I wanted with every fiber of my being, but. Wow. Stop right there. He won't what? I mean, where does he think he is? Feudal era Japan. A woman can have a dominant position if she wants, there is nothing wrong with that, in fact men rather enjoy that every once in a while. Alex argued. I don't think it's got anything to do with sexism or gender bias or whatever. I think he is afraid of me, of my powers I mean. I think he believes I will smash him into tiny atoms or something if he lets me ride him cowgirl or reverse cowgirl or if I thrust back during doggy style. He just wants me to lay there and kneel there and let him do all the work just to be safe, I think. Kara tried to explain as she grabbed her cup of coffee, Alex having just finished making a cup each for the 2 of them, the 2 sisters walking together as they sat on the couches on Alex's lounge. The thought honestly never even crossed my mind. I mean, you are harder than steel and are arguably the second strongest being on the planet. You could literally turn him into minced meat with a single thrust of the hip. I know you wouldn't actually do it under normal circumstances, but can you maintain full control of your powers every time you have an orgasm or every time you are even just approaching orgasm? Alex asked with concern. I don't know. Like I said, Naruto-kun has exerted full control and dominion over every single one of our sexual exploits. All I've been doing so far has been to just lay on the bed or kneel and take it. But giving it can be just as good as taking it. Does my power mean that I can never give it? Will I always have to just lay there and take it? Kara said in despair. Not necessarily. If the love you share with each other is real and true, then maybe you can tell him the truth about who you are one day. I'm sure the greatest tech expert in the world can easily fashion a red sun UV ray lighting system for the bedroom he shares with his Kryptonian queen. Alex said encouragingly, presenting a very good idea Kara had to admit, although it came with its own mountain of problems. If only that were possible. I just received some I can't even describe what kind of news that they are. General Swanwick called me in this morning and according to him, Naruto is a supervillain who is in league with, get this, a meta-human sorcerer-demon hybrid. Yes, you heard me, a freaking meta-human sorcerer-demon hybrid. And get this, they allegedly beat up and brain-raped a high-level government agent, stole all the secret intel she had, and drove her mad. This, allegedly, is the person that I am supposed to reveal my secret to. Oh, and did I mention that this government agent allegedly knew my secret identity? Which means that Naruto knows your secret identity. Alex exclaimed, eyes wide as realization dawned on her. If he really did steal all the intel she had in her mind, then yes, he knows that Supergirl and Kara Danvers are one and the same. Kara replied, face in her hands as she tried to shake the frustration out of her system. What are you going to do? Do you believe the story that General Swanwick told you? I trust the General wholeheartedly. He has been like a second father to us, well, a second father to me, and a third to you. He's a good man, but that doesn't mean his intel is correct. Someone could be lying to him. I know, Alex, I know. I guess I just have to ask Naruto-kun, if I ever develop enough courage to visit him again. Kara said with a sad pout. Wait. Is that why you're with me right now and not with him? Alex asked, surprised. Yes. And not that that is the only reason I would seek your company or anything, just that, well, it's why I'm not with him right now. I don't know how to confront him. Kara replied. Has he called to check on you? What will you do when he does? Alex asked curiously, realization dawning on her when Kara gave her a vacant stare. Supergirl doesn't have a phone number, so of course he can't call you, nor can you call him. Alex said, smacking her forehead against her right hand. General Swanwick wants me to spy on Naruto-kun for the government. He said that the government plans to send a meta-human hit squad to kill Naruto-kun if I do not comply. I don't want to be anyone's spy, much less to spy on Naruto-kun of all people, but I also don't want him killed. Alex, what am I going to do? I don't want to lose him, and I don't want to believe that he is capable of all of those bad things. Kara said anxiously. From where I am sitting it sounds like you only have two choices. You either tell him the whole truth and ask him outright what's going on, or you spy on him. It may not be easy, but it is rather simple. Make a choice, and deal with the consequences. Alex deadpanned. You're right, of course you're right, but can't I do that tomorrow, or like, next week or something? Kara said distressfully. Definitely not next week. That's just way too much procrastination. Let's make it tomorrow. Alex said kindly, but firmly. All right, I get it. Procrastination will only make things worse, and possibly get more people mind-raped. Kara said with a heavy sigh, kind of wishing that she wasn't Supergirl right now so that she can have a normal relationship with a boy she liked without him possibly being a diabolical supervillain, or at least without her having the responsibility to do something about it. Meanwhile, undisclosed location. What in God's name? General Eiling, what are you doing? What has gotten into you and everyone else around here? Juice asked incredulously, looking around disbelievingly as the entire secret Cadmus base seemed to have gone nuts. Loud hip-hop music playing on the speakers all around the base while everyone was dancing and twerking like they were in some secret sex club hideout instead of a secret military research facility. Juice is a tall and athletic-looking 18-year-old of African-American lineage, spotting short black hair and black eyes. He is wearing a black and blue full-body combat suit with yellow lightning streaks on it. If it isn't Juice, arguably the most talented electrokinetic human on planet Earth. Let us test your mettle, shall we? Tell me, Juice, what exactly do you think is going on around here? General Eiling asked amusedly. What's going on is that everyone suddenly turned into happy-go-lucky nut jobs, that's what. Juice replied, throwing his hands in the air in exasperation. So you mean to tell me that you believe that everyone suddenly turned into nut jobs and sexual deviants with no cause or reason whatsoever? You don't even find it suspicious that none of your friends and comrades from the Ulti-Men have pitched up today? As I recall, they have never missed or been late for a meeting, have they? General Eiling asked rhetorically. Is this some kind of test? Juice asked with exasperation which once again quickly turned to confusion as he looked around at the break-dancing and twerking employees all around the facility. Why exactly is everyone dancing, and what the hell is that loud music? Seriously, loud hip-hop? Stereotyping much? Juice asked incredulously. Perhaps it is a stereotype, but nevertheless you have failed the test of your instincts and your deductive analysis skills. You failed to sense that something was seriously wrong here, and you couldn't even deduce that the only way everyone here would be acting as crazy as they are, while at the same time your team failed to show up for the scheduled meeting, is because something seriously wrong had happened. Or was busy happening. General Eiling said with a chastising tone. Now we will test your combat abilities. General Eiling said as a cloud of odorless smoke suddenly appeared around him with a poofing sound, the smoke clearing soon after to reveal someone completely different from General Eiling, revealing a tall imposing figure. With a red demonic fox-like mask over his head and black and red combat armor, the figure also spotting a gigantic sword on his back along with 2 guns on each side of his waist. What the hell? Who the hell are you? Juice exclaimed in shock, jumping a few meters back in order to get himself as far away from this demonic creature as possible. So your first instinct was to establish distance between yourself and the enemy and take on a fighting stance. Good. There might be hope for you yet. The figure said with a deep and menacing voice, Juice however losing focus on the interloper as he scanned the room, watching in surprise, confusion, and wariness as everyone else suddenly disappeared in odorless clouds of smoke. If you must know, those people were never real, they were my shadow clones transformed to look like the employees that work here. The actual employees are all sleeping peacefully in their homes, unaware that imposters are running around pretending to be them. The mysterious figure replied. Man, just who the hell are you? What the hell do you want from me? Juice asked warily. You can call me Kitsune, but that is only my alias. If you want me to tell you the rest, then prove yourself worthy of that privilege. Fight me and defeat me. Kitsune said as his entire body became illuminated by a strong lighting current, so much so that the current almost looked like a solid object instead of just energy. Lighting style, lightning armor. Kitsune said with a deadpan tone. Oh man. You think you can use electricity to defeat me? Me? Man, you're a fool. Juice said as he too became illuminated by lightning, moving at a ridiculous speed as he quickly closed the distance between himself and the interloper and launched 20 different attacks in a literal second, from leg sweeps to back spinning kicks to straight lefts and right hooks. All to no avail, however, as all of his attacks were either easily dodged or effortlessly blocked. Not bad at all. But is that all that you've got? Is that all you can do? Kitsune asked tauntingly. What have you done to my friends? What the hell is going on, man? Juice exclaimed in frustration, having backed away again in order to reassess the situation. The more relevant question. Kitsune trailed off as he suddenly appeared right behind Juice and swatted him away with a casual backhand to the back of the head, sending the ebony teen flying away and crashing into the wall. Is why you aren't using your full power from the get-go? Sure, it is not wise to reveal all of your trump cards from the onset, but that solely depends on the level of your opponent. Take now for instance, I could have easily dealt you a death blow if I so desired, and you would have died without having the opportunity to use your trump card. Kitsune said sagely. Man, forget you. Is this supposed to be a fight or a school lecture? Juice asked in frustration, also buying time for himself in order to get over the dizziness from being smacked hard at the back of the head, internally wondering if his opponent's hands were made of steel or something. Even discounting the fact that his gloves were metal-plated at the back of the hand. Why can't it be both a fight and a lecture? Kitsune deopanned. Oh okay smart guy. You're gonna get it now. Juice said angrily, transmuting his entire body into pure electrical energy as he started zipping all around the place in every conceivable direction, a feat that would have had most people in the universe unable to keep up at all with him, not with their eyes, not with their minds. And certainly not with their bodies. However, much to Juice's surprise, the mysterious interloper was actually keeping pace with him, blocking off every single exit as the interloper would appear right in front of the teen electromancer no matter what direction he tried to use to evade. Fear starting to settle at the pit of his stomach as he realized that he might actually be up against a god in this battle. However, in that moment of fear, uncertainty, and anxiety, Juice was able to find inspiration as opposed to trying to evade the interloper when he inevitably found his escape route blocked off again, he instead attempted something new and spontaneous. Running straight into the interloper and merging himself with interloper's lightning armor in order to take control of the interloper's body. Now I kill you with your own body. Juice said as he forced the interloper to strangle himself with his own right arm. Ha ha ha. What now? Huh? What now? Where's all that big talk you had earlier what? Juice sputtered at the end of his bragadacious monologue as Kitsune somehow retook control of his body and moved his arm away from his own throat. That was impressive, not only in terms of your ability but also due to the fact that you were able to come up with that idea on the fly. It would have worked literally against anyone else in the world probably. Kitsune said as he not only reasserted control over his own body, but also took control over his opponent's body, turning Juice into a large ball of lightning that was floating above his right hand, effectively separating Juice from his own lightning armor in the process. What are you doing to me? Why can't I change back? Why can't I control my form? Juice exclaimed frantically. Ninja rule number 21, be careful how you use your techniques lest they be used against you. Kitsune replied sagely. Okay man. You win. What the hell do you want from me? Juice asked fearfully. You have passed my test, Juice, and therefore are worthy of becoming my protege. I now dub you my apprentice. From here on out, you are officially a member of Team Ultimen of Hive. Kitsune said with pride, releasing his hold over his new protege, thereby allowing him to reassume his human form. The Hive? I don't understand. I thought I worked for Cadmus and the government? Is this a promotion or something? Juice asked confusedly. For that question, I think it would be best if your sibling apprentices answered for you. Kitsune replied, and just as he finished saying that, the rest of the Ultimen came into the hall and walked towards their friend and comrade. Wind Dragon, Long Shadow, Downpour, Shifter, what's going on here? Did you guys betray the government? Did you betray Cadmus? Juice asked warily. No Juice, Cadmus, and the government betrayed us. Wind Dragon said angrily. He is the designated leader of the Ultimen, and his power is the generation and control of wind currents. He is an Asian American teen with short black hair and brown eyes and he is wearing a red, black, and white form-fitting, full-body combat suit. I don't understand, Maxwell Lord and Dr. Emil Hamilton. Lied to us. Wind Dragon exclaimed, cutting Juice off before he could finish speaking. They lied to us. Juice, we are genetically engineered clones. We aren't even the first batch, we are the 18th. The others were failures, so are we actually. Our bodies will expire in a matter of months, or would have at least. Kitsune said that he can cure us, he can make us whole. Wind Dragon explained. That's nonsense. I'm not a clone. I have memories of my entire life. Juice argued vehemently. Those are false, implanted memories. We have only been alive for 3 months. Kitsune showed us proof, in fact, they were already preparing the next batch of clones to replace us, they are on a secret floor level below this base. They look exactly like us Juice, the only difference is that they are still empty shells because they haven't been implanted with false memories yet. Wind Dragon said calmly, even though there was a noticeable edge to his tone, his fists clamped tightly in anger. He's telling the truth, Juice. This is not a trick or a game. It's not a dream either. Long Shadow added. He is a very tall and muscular teen of Native American descent, wearing black pants and a brown sleeveless top of Native American design. He has long black hair and brown eyes, and despite his intimidating physique he is actually a kind and gentle soul, assuming he even has a soul, of course, given that he is a clone. Damn. I can't believe this shit, man. I'm a freaking clone. Crazy. Juice said in dismay. Yeah, totally. Wind Dragon muttered somberly. Anyway, tell me I ain't the only one who got his ass hooped by Kitsune today? You guys get your butts hooped too? Juice asked with a much lighter tone, seemingly over the discovery that he was a genetically engineered person already. We all got our butts hooped. I turned into a dragon, but Kitsune summoned a gigantic toad right on top of me. I got crushed in one move. It was so embarrassing. Shifter said depressively. She is a beautiful white-skinned teen girl, not white as in Caucasian, although she was actually Caucasian, but white as in literally white-skinned and white-haired too, spotting pink eyes and a slim figure. She also had pink lipstick and her hair is tied in ponytail and is wearing a purple form-fitting combat suit. Embarrassing, and a gigantic toad? Sounds disgusting. And man, where you get a giant toad anyway? Juice asked incredulously. I made them through a complicated process that requires genetic engineering and the use of my powers. I have a whole clan of them. Kitsune said, as if merely talking about the weather forecast of the day. Did he tell you that the toads talk as well? Downpour, twin brother of Shifter, deadpanned. Downpour is basically... He looks almost exactly like her except for the fact that he has no lipstick and his body shape and facial features are more masculine. He is also wearing a masculine version of the outfit that she was wearing. A giant talking toad? Well, what about that? Honestly, I'm not surprised anymore. At this point I expect flying pigs and tooth fairies to come out of this guy's ass, Juice retorted, causing everyone to laugh at Kitsune's expense, even Kitsune himself. Anyway, what about you? How'd he beat you? Juice asked, directing his question at Downpour. I turned myself into a tidal wave, but the toad that crushed my sister swallowed me and spat me out in a jet stream. I lost consciousness afterwards. Downpour said irritably. Wow, sounds like you guys had a nasty ass experience. I can't tell which is worse, getting crushed by a giant toad's smelly ass, or getting an introduction to its intestines. Juice replied with disgust. Anyway, Kitsune believes that I have the ability to transmute the hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the atmosphere into water. He doesn't believe I need to necessarily change myself into water because according to him, it is impossible for the 6 liters or so of water inside a human's body to turn into a tidal wave unless I was actually creating additional water to add to myself. Downpour said proudly. Transmute hydrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere into water? Is that even possible? Juice asked doubtfully. Kitsune already demonstrated it for my brother. It's definitely possible. Shifter replied. You have hydrokinesis too? Damn. Just how many powers do you have? Juice asked incredulously. The nature of my power is such that it is limited only by my imagination. Hard work, intelligence, study, practice, research, training, and experimentation are also supplementary requirements. Kitsune explained. Okay. Whatever. So Long Shadow, how did you fare? Did you win? Juice asked optimistically. I fought a toad and lost. It had crazy martial arts skills, it was insanely fast and agile too. I stood no chance. But I learned that the size of my form is not a limitation to what I can do. Kitsune promised to teach me how to conquer and overcome the so-called limitations of my size. He is also going to teach me martial arts. Long Shadow explained excitedly. So your giant astral form got murked too? Damn. Wind Dragon? You lost too? Juice asked his leader with a now hopeless tone. Wind style, Raisin Shuriken. That's the technique Kitsune used to defeat me. The technique either sucked up or outright defused all of my wind-based attacks. If he had thrown it at me, I would have certainly died. I have never felt so much power before in my life. Wind Dragon said, shuddering at the memory of going up against such a fearsome technique. Okay, I officially don't want to hear any more of this depressive shit. Just show me proof of what you said about us being clones and let's get out of here. Juice said with exasperation. Of course, and naturally we will destroy the abominable clones and every single piece of evidence that this place ever existed. Kitsune said diabolically. Following day, 9 a.m., my god, what happened here? Supergirl asked in both awe and concern. I was hoping you could tell me. General Swanwick asked curiously. Me? Supergirl asked, surprised. Well, you deal with super-powered beings all the time, so I figured you might have an idea who or what did this. General Swanwick elaborated. Do I know anyone who has the power to turn a former military base into a gigantic canyon? Leaving no trace of radiation or noticeable debris. No, I have no idea who could have done this. What about that demonic meta-human sorcerer person? Supergirl asked, even though she really didn't want to know the answer to that because of all of the implications it might have about her lover. Well, it does look like the entire base, its foundation, and the underground levels of the base were moved out of here. That could be done by teleportation, which is one of the Enchantress's abilities. There is no record however of her doing something on this large a scale, but then again, not much is known about the true extent and scale of her powers. The general answered. So she is one of your suspects? Kara asked warily. She is the main suspect, which means so is Naruto Uzumaki. It can't be a coincidence that this happened so soon after Amanda Waller's mind was ransacked by the Enchantress. General Swanwick replied, a look of concern morphing onto his facial features when he saw the distress on Kara's facial features. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it looks like your new love interest might not be what you thought he was. General Swanwick said bluntly, but also sympathetically. What was in this base? What exactly did they steal from you? And be honest with me, because you can't lie to me about this. Not when it's so important to me. Kara said sternly, using her X-ray vision to monitor the general's vitals in order to search for any lies, something that she hadn't done since the first month she worked together with him when she realized that he hadn't lied to her the entire month. And she had asked him a lot of questions in the space of that particular month. This was a research facility. We experimented with genetic engineering and DNA manipulation. The effort was in the interest of creating super-powered or enhanced human soldiers in order to protect us from extraterrestrial threats, and even to be used against the Justice League if they ever tried to take over the world. General Swanwick replied. Genetic experimentation? I'm not in support of such practices. Krypton had such projects too, they were stopped for a reason. Supergirl said disapprovingly. Unfortunately neither you nor I have a say in the matter. General Swanwick retorted. You still haven't directly answered my question. What was taken? Or rather, who? Kara asked with a piercing stare. 5 teenage metas, all with different kinds of meta powers. One is a shapeshifter, her twin has hydrokinesis, another has the ability to create a gigantic humanoid energy construct around himself, and the other two have electrokinesis and aerokinesis. Swanwick explained in detail. So he took your research and the fruits of that research? Kara asked rhetorically. And the knowledge itself. Dr. Emil Hamilton's mind has been wiped clean of the years and years of knowledge and research that he put into Project Ultiman. As a result we won't even be able to rebuild. General Swanwick said with concern. Then at least something good came of this. Supergirl said as she shot into the sky, not giving the general an opportunity to respond to her retort. That doesn't look like a happy cape. General Lane said as he approached General Swanwick. She has some issues to resolve. This is very close to home for her. She was really into Naruto Uzumaki. I think she actually loves him, at least, she loves who she thought he was. General Swanwick replied. For God's sake Swanwick, she's a bloody alien. What does she know about the affairs of the human heart? General Lane replied with disgust, Swanwick turning around and looking at General Lane as if he had just grown a new head on his shoulders, unable to believe the sheer ignorance and bigotry that was coming out of the mouth of his colleague. How is General Eiling doing? Swanwick asked, skillfully but bluntly changing the topic. As well as you can expect. He's devastated. An entire day of his life was taken away from him and his entire base. None of them remember anything about where they were or what they were doing when this happened. He was powerless to do anything about it, we all were. General Lane said furiously, fists clenched in anger as he once again was reminded of just how small and insignificant they were in the face of these supernatural freaks of nature. National security is becoming a joke. It seems as though we are forever 10 steps behind. And moreover, every time we take a step forward we are driven back 10 steps. First we lost the Royal Flush Unit, and now the Ulti-Men. It's starting to appear as though preparing for a potential invasion is a fool's errand, because from what I can discern from these events, we have already been invaded and colonized, we just didn't know it until now. General Swanwick replied. Then the first step is to find out by whom we are colonized. Who is Naruto Uzumaki working with apart from Enchantress? General Lane said. Or who is he working for, if indeed we are colonized or in the process of being colonized? General Swanwick replied, not knowing just how simultaneously close and far from the truth he really was. 10 minutes later. What the hell are you doing? Why are you just standing there like an idiot? Take me to Naruto. Now. Poison Ivy exclaimed angrily, unable to believe the naivete and stupidity that was on display right in front of her. And what exactly are you going to do? Look, you're powerful, okay, very powerful. But Lobo is on another league entirely. You cannot beat him, not without a brilliant plan and the right setup. Besides, the boss explicitly told us not to interfere. Instant retorted, causing Pamela to literally pull on her long and silky red hair in frustration. And what was the cause or source of her frustration? Well, nothing, except for the fact that an all-powerful intergalactic mercenary had literally just broken through their defenses, eyes glowing a menacing red, and kidnapped their boss right in front of them, flying him away on what appeared to be an advanced space motorbike to God knows where. Okay, maybe I can't beat him. But you have freaking instant teleportation. You can totally teleport to Naruto, touch him, and teleport out of there with him. Pamela argued, causing Instant to release a sigh of exasperation. Look, trust me, the boss will be fine, okay? He can take care of himself, more than any of us actually. I don't expect you to understand, but the reality here is that we are not normal bodyguards. Our job is not to protect the boss from harm, our job is to protect his assets from harm. The boss is more than capable of protecting himself, after all, with the exception of you, he personally trained all of us in how to fight. Instant replied, much to Pamela's confusion. I don't understand. You're telling me that you, Looker, Brainwave, Hourman, and Painkiller were all trained by Naruto? Naruto Uzumaki, the genius nerd who is our boss, can fight at the level of a metahuman? Wait. Is he a metahuman too? Pamela asked, eyes wide in surprise. A metahuman? Haha. The boss is so much more than a mere metahuman. You underestimate him too much. Anyway, I've said too much already, I'm sure the boss will reveal everything to you in time. Trust is earned, Pamela. I can tell that you genuinely care for him, but it's not my place to tell you our boss's secrets. He'll let you in when the time is right. But for now, just trust me. The boss will be fine. Instant replied. Either you are a total idiot or you are by far the most ignorant person on planet Earth. Are you aware who that was that took our boss? That was Lobo, freaking Lobo, the space mercenary, the guy who once defeated and kidnapped Superman. The strongest person on the planet, Superman. You know him, right? Pamela asked condescendingly. If you do not trust me, that is fine, but you have to trust the boss, and he told you to stand down. If you do not trust him, it doesn't matter because he pays you to obey his orders, so again, stand down. Instant said with a noticeable edge to his tone. Okay, fine. Pamela replied between deep breaths, trying to calm her nerves so that she can properly process everything. She didn't know when exactly she started caring so much about her geeky boss, and part of her hated herself for caring about a mere human. After all that should have mattered to her was Mother Nature itself. However, between her friendship with Harley Quinn, her love affair with Kite Man, and her whatever her relationship was with her boss, the lines were beginning to become blurred, to the point that she didn't know where her loyalties lied anymore. Just exactly what is Naruto Uzumaki? I've been here for a couple of months now and I still don't know jack about him. All I have are more questions and no answers at all. Pamela thought anxiously, the irony of the whole situation not escaping her as she had joined Wave Consolidated in order to change Naruto Uzumaki and make him care more about Mother Nature, but instead he had changed her and made her care more about humans. Good, now let us see about the repairs for the damages this guy caused. Looker is in charge of things like that, so you go and talk to her while I make sure that no one shit. Instant trailed off as Supergirl came through the gigantic hole in Naruto's office, eyes glowing red, a far brighter and more terrifying red than Lobo's red, as it looked like she was really pissed off about something. What's going on here? And you better not lie to me, Instant. Supergirl said menacingly. I don't know about you, but I don't think it will end well for either of us if you lie to her right now. I've never seen her like this. She looks like a woman scorned, and hell hath no fury like a woe. I get it, Pamela. I'm not blind, and my instincts work perfectly fine, thank you. Instant said, also feeling the terribly oppressive aura that Supergirl was radiating in waves. Intergalactic space mercenary Lobo happened. He kidnapped the boss, and we know that he only works on a reward-based system. Assuming the boss has never left planet Earth, then it is likely someone from Earth who hired Lobo. But who would have the kind of juice to get Lobo to run an errand for them? The US government? Perhaps. They did just recently attack us after all. Who has that kind of reach in Metropolis? The DoD, Lex Luthor, Intergang, Cadmus, and a number of alien supervillains. Around the planet? I could think of a few other. Alright. I get it. It could be anyone. Just shut up for a moment and let me concentrate. Supergirl said, her anger a thing of the past as it was replaced with concern for her beloved, eyes no longer glowing a menacing red as she anxiously searched the planet with her super hearing ability. I think I found something. Supergirl exclaimed as she disappeared with a sonic boom. Seems like the situation is about to resolve itself. I mean, Superman was later able to defeat Lobo multiple times after that one loss, maybe Supergirl can do it. Pamela said, happy that her boss was going to be okay but also displeased about the fact that it was Supergirl and not her that was going to save him. Meanwhile, undisclosed desert location. Ouch. Naruto cried unconvincingly as he crash-landed on the sand dunes of a remote desert area, having just been thrown down from the sky by his kidnapper. His kidnapper was angry, that pretty much was obvious. However, Naruto did not have even the foggiest idea as to what could have made his captor so mad. He was a perfectly willing and cooperating captive, specifically because he wanted to avoid this sort of thing, and because he really just wanted to quickly get this whole charade over and done with. Frag. Can you believe the nerve? Calling the main man out from the other side of the universe to hunt down a little weak basic like you? Yeah, didn't even resist the main man. Yeah, bodyguards just stood and watched? Where is the fun in that? Lobo asked, throwing his hands up in the air in exasperation. Perhaps whoever it is that hired you was playing a prank on you. Or perhaps he or she thought that bounty hunters were all about the money. So long as you're paid good for your work, then there shouldn't be any problems, no matter how uninteresting your target is. Naruto said as he got up and calmly dusted his expensive suit off. I'm no fraggin' normal bounty hunter. I'm the main man. The best in the universe. I only get called to hunt the biggest, baddest, hardest, and most dangerous prey in the universe. Not some fraggin' basic ass geeky punk ass businessman from a backwater planet like Earth. Lobo complained somewhat petulantly, Naruto thought. I see, so it is not just about the money but also about the thrill of the hunt for you. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, you'd have to have that kind of mindset to be good enough to be the fourth best bounty hunter in the universe. Naruto retorted, Lobo's eyes widening in horror, unable to believe the auditory information his ears were retrieving from this little human punk. Well, not really so little, because he was quite big as far as human standards, but still a mere human. What the frag did you just say to me? Lobo asked with a grave undertone, pulling out the gigantic plasma incinerator that was on his back and pointing it directly at his target. I'm pretty sure whoever hired you wants me alive. Perhaps it is this impulsive behavior that makes you only the fourth best bounty hunter in the universe. Naruto retorted. There ya go again yapping ya fragging mouth at the main man about fourth best. I'm the main man, the main man. And the main is the best, it is known, by every fragging person in the entire universe. Lobo exclaimed angrily. Really? Cause you know, I heard, and know differently. Naruto shrugged. What? Who the frag is better than the main man? Name one person? In fact, name the fragging 3 people that are allegedly better than the main man. Lobo asked incredulously, putting a large emphasis on the word main as he drawled it out for dramatic effect. Tell me who hired you to kidnap me and LTE. Big Barda and Mr. Miracle hired me, Now tell me who ya heard is better than the main man, or so help me heaven and hell I will make you beg the main man to kill ya. Lobo exclaimed in frustration, clearly attached to his identity as the so-called best bounty hunter in the universe. Naruto noted. Kitsune the Toad Sage, Deathstroke the Terminator, and Bolfyunga the Unrelenting, in that order. Naruto deadpanned. Wow. Those actually sound like cool names. I should get one of those. How about Lobo the Terrible Terror? Ha 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 ha. Sounds good huh? Lobo asked, Naruto raising a single eyebrow at his captor as he wondered just how much sanity points Lobo would score in a 10-point system. Lobo the Blue Terror. Lobo the Obliterator. Sounds a little derivative to me. You totally just changed Terminator to Obliterator. Naruto retorted, causing Lobo to frown in displeasure. Are you calling the main man a thief? Ya know what, neither Mr. Miracle or Big Barda specified whether they wanted you alive or not. They just said the main man had to take ya to them. So take ya to them a body bag. Lobo said with menace, a red plasma beam firing from his plasma incinerator only for the beam to be swatted aside violently by a red and blue streak, causing a large explosion on the far east side of the desert. Just in the nick of time. Great save my love. Don't you my love me you pathological liar. I only saved you because it was the right thing to do. We are not on good terms. Supergirl exclaimed, cutting Naruto off before he could finish speaking. I cannot even fathom why we wouldn't be on good terms, but if it is the reason why you did not come to my apartment last night like you usually do, then I am eager for you to get this over and done with so that we can sort things out and get back to normal. Naruto retorted. Normal? PSH. Yeah, as if. Kara said incredulously. What's that supposed to mean? Naruto asked warily, Lobo however interrupting the couple's quarrel before it could gain any ground. That symbol? Kizi Fem is a Superman wannabe, I see. The main man kicked the fragging ass out of Superman and the main man sure as hell ain't about to lose to no Kizi Fem wannabe Superman. Lobo said confidently. Row, this guy is so insufferable. Kara said irritably. I dunno, I find him to be quite amusing. Naruto said thoughtfully, Kara resisting the urge to stare at her boyfriend incredulously, but in order to do that she would have to turn around and give the enemy her back, something she was not in the habit of doing. Especially to someone who once defeated her cousin of all people. 15 minutes later. To say Naruto was surprised would amount to a massive understatement. It really wasn't the fact that his girlfriend, Supergirl, had lost a straight-up battle to the Zarnian bounty hunter, but rather how one-sided and decisive the victory was. He had thought that she would at least maim Lobo a couple of times, force him to burn some energy on regeneration, but no, she really didn't land any significant blows at all. Superman held back a lot in his battles, it was clear to see as far as Naruto was concerned, but Kara wasn't like Kal. Sure, she did actually hold back, but nowhere near as much as Superman did. To make matters worse, she didn't hold back whatsoever in this particular battle, partly because she was royally pissed off to begin with, partly because they were in a completely isolated area. And also because Lobo is seemingly immortal, as he is known even on Earth as someone who can completely regenerate himself even from a drop of blood. Yet somehow, Lobo was able to make easy work of Supergirl, practically toying with her until he decided to put her down for good. This gave Naruto a lot of perspective on things, in that both Superman and Lobo were far stronger than he had imagined, and that his girlfriend still had a long way to go in all 3 categories of skill, raw power, and strength, and experience. In case his girlfriend did not come to the rescue, Naruto had planned to use his Prometheum weave suit in order to defend himself. However, after witnessing firsthand just how powerful Lobo was and how advanced his weaponry was, he realized that the suit was not going to work at all. He would have to use his real power in order to save his girlfriend and not suppress it like he did when he was using the Prometheum weave body armor. And Naruto-kun. Run. Save yourself, I'll hold him off for you. Kara said with both love and devotion, willing to sacrifice herself for the sake of the man she loved, no matter if he was a villain or not, no matter if she was angry at him or not, barely able to stand as she stood between the dangerous space bounty hunter and her boyfriend. Fear not, my love, I will save us both by defeating this menace. After all, he is only the fourth best bounty hunter in the universe. I on the other hand am the best there is, for I am Kitsune the Toad Sage. Naruto said, his tone of voice changing drastically as he transformed into his Kitsune persona, a cloud of smoke signifying the activation of his transformation jutsu. Or rather, summoning jutsu, as what he was actually doing was reverse summoning his business suit whilst simultaneously summoning his armor and weapons. Well, what do we have here? Well, frag me in the ass cheeks and bend me over the counter like a little keezy femme whore. The main man certainly did not expect this turn of events. Saves me a lot of time, I guess, cause now the main man no longer need waste any time hunting down this Kitsune basic. Lobo said excitedly. Gotta say though, I most certainly did not expect your keezy geeky punk ass basic ass to be this so-called Toad Sage. Anyway, the main man just has to kill you in order to become number one, right? Lobo asked rhetorically. I'm not sure it actually works like that. I mean, does killing me make you a better bounty hunter than Deathstroke the Terminator or Bolfyunga the Unrelenting? Naruto asked rhetorically, Lobo's eyes widening as realization dawned on him. So yeah, saying I gotta hunt down and kill all three of ya? Damn. That's a lot of work. I don't even know where to start searching for these bastitches. Lobo whined petulantly. Or you could just improve your bounty hunting skills and get a higher mission success rate so that you can become a higher ranked bounty hunter. Naruto counter-argued. Yeah, I think I'll just stick to plan A and kill the whole lot of ya, thank you very much. Lobo said diabolically. And Naruto-kun? How did you change into that so fast? What happened to your voice? Just who what are you? Kara asked, unable to believe what she was seeing with her own two eyes. To put it simply, my love, I am the Uzumaki Naruto to your Kara Danvers, the Nathaniel Wilson to your Kara Zor-El, and the Kitsune to your Supergirl. In essence, that is to say, my story is not so different to yours. Naruto retorted, Kara's eyes widening in surprise as she quickly put two and two together. Are you saying that you're an alien that was adopted by a human family? So, Uzumaki Naruto is your Earth name? I guess it makes sense now why you have a Japanese name despite being, well, you know, you look Caucasian. Kara said, still in disbelief about what she was hearing even though it actually made a lot of sense. You are correct for the most part, except I'm not an alien, I'm a new god of apocalypse. In other words, I'm not even from this dimension, I'm a fourth-dimensional being. Naruto explained, deciding that he might as well tell his girlfriend everything now that she had seen his true self. What's apocalypse? I know about dimensions, my cousin told me about his encounter with a fifth-dimensional being called MXSPTLK, a person who had godlike powers. But I have never heard of Apoco. Kara trailed off, shock taking hold of her throat as she inexplicably and instantly found herself standing next to her boyfriend, unable to understand how she had been moved from one point to another so quickly. Without her even realizing what had happened until it already happened. You not only turned your back on an enemy but on one who so soundly defeated you in a matter of minutes. A very bad and rookie mistake that you should never make again, no matter how surprised you are by the sudden turn of events. Naruto said as he pointed at the place where Supergirl was previously standing, Kara following the direction her boyfriend's finger was pointing in surprise as she saw that Lobo was now standing there looking like he had just finished executing a flawless, horizontal sword strike. The main man has grown bored of Keezy Femme Supergirl's yapping and blabbering. The main man has a date with the Toad Sage and the Keezy Femme Kryptonian is not invited to join. This ain't no threesome party. Lobo said irritably, his words falling on deaf ears as Supergirl only had one question. I teleported you to me using a jutsu formula that I marked you with on the evening that we first made love to each other. I knew it might come in handy should your life ever be in the kind of danger that you couldn't get out of yourself. Naruto answered before the question was even asked. You violated my privacy and my trust. Supergirl said, appalled and incensed by her boyfriend's actions. Yes, I did, and I would do it again. I am a ninja after all, it is what we do. Besides, you have no right to say anything about lies and deception when you have been keeping secrets from me from the start. Naruto retorted. What? That doesn't make any. Look. Naruto said firmly, cutting off Supergirl before she could finish speaking. We can have this conversation later tonight, at my place. For now, just sit back and enjoy the show as I send this amateur back to where he came from. Naruto said firmly. You can't expect me to just. Actually, I think I'll do just that. Kara said, levitating herself and flying backwards so that she can establish sufficient distance between herself and the battle, having quickly shut down her own protest when she remembered that her boyfriend was apparently a god from a higher dimension. And not just any god but a ninja god at that. Gotta say I did not expect her to back off so easily, but who am I to look a gift horse in the mouth? Now where were we? Oh yeah, you were about to tell me where to find Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. Naruto said confidently. Now he had never met Big Barda or this Mr. Miracle, but he did know of them. After all, his mother hadn't just left behind tons of new god tech for him, but she had also left even more tons of new god knowledge and information. There were only two possible reasons that they even knew about him: one, that they had tortured and extracted the information out of his mother, or two, that his mother had willingly shared that information with them. Whatever the actual reason, his mother obviously needed him and he had no intention of disappointing her. The main man will tell you all you want to know, if you can defeat me, that is. Very well then. Naruto said, a tri-pronged kunai instantaneously appearing in his right hand as he launched it at his opponent at an incredible speed, Lobo however too fast and skilled to be caught by such a basic attack as he quickly moved his sword in the way and deflected the kunai. However, in the instant that his sword touched the kunai, Lobo found himself flying rapidly in the air as Kitsune hit him hard dead center, using an open-handed palm strike to hit the space bounty hunter right on the solar plexus. The main man reeling in pain as his internal organs were instantly turned into mush. However, pain tolerance and pain resistance are one of the main man's special traits, so it was without much surprise that, despite the horrible state of his internal organs, the main man was able to quickly right himself and take on a fighting stance. His mind racing as he tried to figure out how Kitsune moved so fast that he was unable to even catch a glimpse of him, as even Superman wasn't that fast. The main man is gonna figure out your little trick, and when he does you're gonna regret putting ya filthy hands on the main man. Lobo said as he pointed his sword at the Toad Sage. I see your internal organs have already healed. Is it me, or has your regenerative ability improved since the last time you fought Superman? Naruto asked curiously. So ya noticed, huh? The main man has improved his training regimen since then. I'm much stronger than I was back then. Lobo said with a confident smirk, his sword transforming into a gigantic plasma beam cannon right in front of Naruto's eyes. And now the main man will blast you, Kizi Fem Kryptonian, and this barren piece of dirt into smithereens. Lobo said maniacally, confident that at this distance, he would be able to see Kitsune coming no matter how fast he was. Are you sure about that? Naruto said as he severed the arm that was holding the sword-turned plasma beam cannon with his own gigantic cosmic sword, a large amount of electronic oscillations generated by the sword, so much so that it was not only exponentially sharper than it normally was, but that it also instantly cauterized the wounds that it inflicted, Lobo's arm dropping onto the ground like a sack of potatoes. I am possible. Lobo exclaimed in disbelief. There was no way, there was just no way Kitsune was that fast. No one was that fast, not even Superman. That Bastic has to be cheating somehow. It's almost like he is telep that mother fragging Bastic. Lobo cursed internally as realization dawned on him, his mind flashing back to a recent memory as he remembered how Kitsune had saved Supergirl, and more specifically, his words right after. I teleported you to me using a jutsu formula that I marked you with on the evening that we first made love to each other. That basic must have marked me somehow. Come to think of it, that knife he threw at me had some strange markings on it. Mother fragging basic. Where did he touch me again? Frag. He touched me on my tummy. Lobo thought wearily. Now, normally, this wouldn't be much of an issue for Lobo, because he could just blast his own stomach with the plasma beam cannon and quickly regenerate in order to get rid of the marking. However, in the time that he would get the plasma beam cannon or call it back to himself, Kitsune would already be upon him, seeing as he could get to him in an instant. Secondly, that technique Kitsune used to cauterize his wounds was a technique straight out of the last circle of hell, because the fact that his arm hadn't started regenerating yet meant that Kitsune somehow found a way to stop his regenerative powers. For how long? Lobo had no idea, and he had a feeling that he did not want to find out. Finally, Lobo had no idea just how many of his body parts were marked. Sure, it seemed like Kitsune might have just recently marked him, right after he hit him with a palm strike if Lobo had to guess. But what guarantee did Lobo have that only his stomach was marked? What if Kitsune had started marking him from the moment they met and Lobo kidnapped him? What if that was the actual reason that Kitsune allowed himself to be kidnapped? Judging by the look on your face, I'd say you must have just now realized the limitless applications of my Flying Thunder God technique. You also would have realized that I managed to slow down your regeneration considerably, whilst also making sure that none of your blood was actually spilled in order to stop you regenerating from a droplet of blood. That is only just a dose of what I can do, Lobo. There are many other things I can do to stop you permanently, Naruto said with a grave undertone. Frag. This is one scary son of a basic. I wasn't prepared for this. That basic Barda and her boy toy didn't give the main man anywhere near enough information about this brat. I need more time and more information for this kind of task, and definitely way more money. I ain't getting paid enough for this crap. Lobo lamented internally. I'll make a deal with you, Lobo. Tell me where to find Big Barda and scot-free, and I will ensure that the very existence of this encounter stays between the three of us. No one will ever know of or hear about what happened here. Naruto offered sincerely. Like hell's anus, I'm gonna do that. I'm a professional. I do not snitch on my clients. It's against the main man's code. Lobo said proudly. Alternatively, then allow me to turn myself into you. Stick around for 3 days. In exactly 3 days I will hand myself over to you and you can fulfill your contract by taking me to Barda and scot-free. Naruto counter-offered. Fine. I guess technically that isn't breaking the code. What happens after I deliver you is none of my concern. But you better keep your word. I better never hear about this encounter or I will come back and kill every single person on this planet like I did the people of my home planet. You got that? Lobo said menacingly. It's agreeable. However, understand that whatever happens to you in the next 3 days is none of my concern. If you decide to cause havoc on the planet and Superman and the Justice League end up stopping you, don't expect any help from me. If anything, I'd rather you be off planet and only come back to pick me up. Naruto said warily. Oh, I think I'll stay a while. I never lost a single fight in my life until I came to this planet, and now I have lost to 2 people from this planet. I think it's time I did a little digging around. Lobo said with a healthy dose of suspicion. Suit yourself. Naruto said as he teleported back to his girlfriend. Let's go. Naruto said simply. Are we just going to leave him here? Kara asked incredulously. He attacked my building and kidnapped me. No one was harmed and I have decided not to press any charges. Naruto retorted. What? But he attacked me too. What if I want to press charges? Kara retorted. Actually, you followed us here and attacked him first. Just saying. Naruto said with a shrug, Kara looking at him as if he had just grown a whole new head on his shoulders. You know what, fine, whatever Naruto, or Nathaniel or whoever it is that you really are. Kara said as she started flying away angrily, Naruto following her and quickly catching up to her so that they can fly together. So you can fly too? Rao, is there anything you can't do? Kara asked irritably. So if I couldn't fly, you were just going to leave me in that desert? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow, although it couldn't really be seen from under his mask. Not like you can't teleport to wherever you want, including wherever I am, since you know, you literally marked me like some kind of property. Kara retorted. I guess I deserve a little bit of that. Come, I know a place where we can talk in private. Follow me. Naruto said as he changed direction, flying in a direction that was west of where they were originally flying, currently reluctantly agreeing to go with him as she realized that they really needed to talk about a lot of things. I can't believe how beautiful this place is. How is this place even real? It feels like I'm in heaven. Kara said as she flew around the gigantic jungle, a place Naruto referred to as Mt. Mayaboku. The giant talking toads were kind of scary at first, in fact some even tried to attack her until Naruto managed to calm them down and get them to ignore the two of them for as long as they were around. However, apart from that moment, Kara had to say that this place was by far the most majestic and peaceful place she had ever been to. Mt. Mayaboku is my very own personal sanctuary. I created this place myself using the purest and cleanest form of natural energy that can still be found on planet Earth. Of course I fused my own power into everything, especially the amphibians, which is the reason they have sentience and special abilities. Think of them as my own little personal army, although they are also my dear friends, if not family. Naruto explained, still in his kitsune outfit except without the kitsune mask that he always wore with the outfit. That's amazing. I don't even know what to say. To think that your abilities can produce something like this. Incredible, simply incredible. Kara said in awe and wonder. There, let us settle at the top of that waterfall. It should make a nice, peaceful place for us to talk. Naruto said as he pointed at the spot, he and his girlfriend flying together and landing practically at the same time on a gigantic leaf of an even more gigantic tree that was situated near the edge of the waterfall cliff, not a violent and loud waterfall but rather a small, peaceful one where one can hear all the sounds of the jungle and the forest. How many people know about this place? Who else have you brought here? Kara asked curiously, effectively breaking the comfortable silence with a rather uncomfortable question. You are the only one. No one else has ever been here. Naruto replied as he sat down, making himself comfortable as he invited his girlfriend to sit with him, said girlfriend reluctantly but ultimately obliging him. I cannot help but think that taking me here serves a dual purpose. On the one hand, it can be considered to be the ultimate expression of the love and the trust you have in me for you to bring me all the way here, but on the other hand, I am in a place I know not how to escape, surrounded by your army of military, sentient, and superpowered toads. Did you bring me here to woe me? Or did you bring me here to kill me without the possibility of anyone coming to my aid? Or, is it both? If I am wooed, you'll let me live, and if not, you'll kill me. Kara asked suspiciously, Naruto smiling fondly at Kara as a result, a reaction that Kara certainly did not expect. What are you smiling at me like that for? Kara asked confusedly. Can a man not be impressed by his woman? The way you thought of all of those possibilities right now, it makes me think that you would make a great kunoichi. I think my human mother would have approved of you, perhaps even my new godmother, after all, both of them were elite warriors and tacticians. Naruto explained, causing Kara to blush in embarrassment, a sense of joy threatening to explode from within her before she ruthlessly and efficiently crushed it as she remembered that this was a dangerous assassin who had probably killed dozens of people. And not only that, but he had been lying to her and deceiving her from the beginning. Well, Naruto Nathaniel, thank you for the compliment I think, but I want to break up. Supergirl said bluntly, after struggling to get the words out of her throat but eventually pushing through and releasing the earth-shattering news, or so she thought, feeling concerned and lost when all she received in return was an appreciative smile. I suppose you really are a naturally born kunoichi after all. I too think that Uzumaki Naruto and Supergirl should publicly break up so that Kara Danvers and Uzumaki Naruto can one day have a chance at being together, and so that Kara Zor-El and Nathaniel Wilson can also have their own future together. Naruto said contemplatively, Kara's eyes widening when she realized what her ex-boyfriend thought she had in mind. Nathaniel, it would have been a very good idea, had I still wanted to be with you. But I don't want to be with you. I don't think you're the kind of guy that I am supposed to be with. I don't think I actually can be with you because that would require me to overlook your villainous activities. I stand for truth and justice, and I don't know what you stand for, but it clearly isn't the same thing that I stand for. In fact, it's taking me everything just to stand here with you and not feel threatened. Ever since I learned about the real you, I constantly feel like I have to fight you and take you to the authorities. Kara explained, a number of expressions playing through Naruto's face before finally acceptance, almost as if he just went through the 5 stages of grief in a matter of seconds, which is in fact what actually happened. I see. Somehow, of all the possible conclusions that could have come about today, I did not foresee a scenario where I would have to contemplate a life without you by my side. We have only been together for just over 2 months, but I don't know why I thought we could be together forever. I am heartbroken to say the least, Kara-chan. I thought our bond was much deeper than that. You haven't even tried to understand me at all. I know you haven't, because you haven't even asked me anything about me, my ambitions, or my objectives. Naruto said painfully. I don't want to know anything because I do not want to become your enemy. If you tell me all of your secrets, we will inevitably become enemies. That is what my instincts are telling me. My instincts have never been wrong before. Most importantly, if you tell me your secrets in good faith, and I end up using them against you, what will that make me? Will that not make me a traitor? It's bad enough that I have broken your heart, but I do not also want to be the woman who stabbed you in the back. Kara said sorrowfully. I see. Perhaps it really was foolish of me to think that you could ever see me for what and who I truly am, or that you would ever accept the real me. If I could cry, I would, such is the magnitude of the pain that I feel right now. But if you are sure, actually, even if you aren't, the fact that the thought of breaking up with me has even crossed your mind speaks volumes in itself. I have to accept this reality and learn to live with it, I guess. Naruto said with an aching heart. Yes, you do, and so do I, and if you do not mind, I would like it if you showed me the way home now. Kara demanded, wanting to get as far away from here as quickly as possible because she absolutely did not want her ex-boyfriend to see her breakdown, nor did she want to continue to see the hurt and sadness in his eyes anymore. Of course, I will show you the way soon, but I have to know, what do you intend to do with the secrets that I have shared with you today? Naruto asked with a grave undertone. Oh, there it is. The real you, just as I suspected. Kara said with an edge to her tone, summoning every inch of the fighting spirit within her in preparation for a fight to the death. Just as you what? Look, Kara-chan, nobody is forcing you to answer my question. Do I feel like I deserve an answer after everything that has happened between us? Yes, of course I do. But I cannot force you to talk. I mean, I could, but I do not want to, nor do I think it is the ethical thing to do. So curb your suspicions. I'm not going to do anything to you. Naruto retorted. Then take me home, now. Kara demanded uncompromisingly. So you aren't even going to give me the courtesy of answering my question? Naruto asked with a small frown. I see. Very well then, Kara-ch. Kara, you may go back to National City. Naruto said calmly, holding his left hand in a ram hand seal as he teleported Kara back to National City, just one of the many cities across the world that was full of his high-ration formulas thanks to his shadow clones placing them for him while under disguise. Is that the first time your heart has been broken, Naruto-sensei? A small toad asked as it jumped out from the surrounding bushes, landing on Naruto's lap as Naruto began caressing the toad's head. In a romantic sense, yes, but it isn't the first time someone broke my heart, Gamekaki. Naruto replied with a forlorn look on his facial features, memories of the first time his heart was broken resurfacing in full force, that being of course the time that the entire Uzumaki clan was slaughtered and his biological father subsequently abandoned him. You loved her, didn't you? I thought you said ninjas are not supposed to have emotions. Gamekaki retorted with confusion. I said no such thing, Kichi. Everyone has emotions, even gods. You can't just not have emotions. What is important is to not allow them to control you or to influence your decision-making skills. Naruto countered. Oh, I see. So you really did love her then? Gamakaki asked for confirmation. As she did me. But did you see what she did, Kichi? She didn't allow her feelings for me to cloud her judgment whatsoever. She behaved just like a ninja. She prioritized her objectives and her mission above everything else. Impressive, isn't it, that someone can embody the fundamentals of a shinobi to that extent without ever receiving any shinobi training or mentorship? She really is a few of a kind, maybe even a one of a kind. Naruto lamented. So you also admire her then? Sounds like she is your soulmate, sensei. What are you going to do now? Are you just going to give up on her? On your soulmate? Gamakaki asked with concern. That is exactly what I am going to do, Gamakaki, for I am the real deal, a true shinobi. I cannot allow myself to be distracted from my goals by a woman, no matter how much I adore her. I've been too open and trusting, there is no telling what she will do with the information she has about me. I have to be far more careful from now on. Naruto replied. I think you should probably kill her then, sensei. To make sure the information doesn't leak, that is. Gamakaki said as if it was the most obvious and easy thing to do in the world. I should, but I won't. I do not think I could bring myself to do that. Perhaps one day, who knows, but that time is certainly not today. My heart couldn't bear it. Naruto said with a pained facial expression. Damn. This chick has a vice grip around the throat of your soul, doesn't she? If this is what love is, then I hope to never fall in love with anyone, she's. Gamakaki said with concern, starting to truly fear the phenomenon that is romantic love. Well, if you do ever fall in love, I hope it isn't the kind of love that ends in heartache, that is to say, I hope it is the happily ever after kind. I wouldn't wish this kind of pain even on my worst enemy. Naruto said sagely. Don't worry, sensei, you'll be back on your feet in no time at all. I'm sure eventually you'll find someone better than her to be your life partner. Gamakaki said with a healthy dose of optimism. Well, I hope not. Love makes you vulnerable, and I'm not sure vulnerable is a state of existence that I can tolerate any longer. But the life of an immortal is long, a lot of things can happen in 1,000 years, 5,000 years, 20,000 years, and so forth. But as things stand, romance is not high on my list of priorities, in fact, it isn't even on the list. Naruto said with finality. Good, now let's do some training. You promised to teach me some more water jutsu. Gamakaki said excitedly. Talk about switching moods quickly. Naruto said, shaking his head in dismay. Fine, let's do it. I got some pent-up energy to release after that whole ordeal anyway. A little training should do me some good. Naruto said as he started flying towards the training grounds with his friend and student Gamakaki in hand. Following day, 6:30 a.m. What the? Naruto exclaimed in pain as he got hit and stabbed on the left shoulder by a. Is that a bait ring? Naruto thought in shock and surprise that didn't last long at all as he was sent flying into the wall of his penthouse with a heavy spinning back kick, somehow able to remain conscious and on his feet despite the heavy impact. Be Batman? Why the hell are you attacking me? What have I done to you? What are you even doing in Metropolis? I thought Gotham City was your act. Naruto cried as Batman held him by the scruff of the neck and smashed him again against the wall. You're not much of a ninja, are you? Unaware of your surroundings, slow reaction time and poor self-defense skills. Sure, your body is strong and solid, and your durability and physical strength seem to be surprisingly high, but that's about as far as any of your combat talent goes. Supergirl must have imagined everything she said about you because I do not see anything special about you, Kitsune. Batman said, unimpressed. The fuck? What the hell are you talking about? What is Kitsune? Is that a person? Why are you here harassing me for no reason? Naruto asked incredulously. Perhaps Kitsune is a literal alter ego, a split personality disorder. Despite your apparent ignorance, your body seems much too developed for you not to be someone dangerous. Maybe we should interrogate the other personality. Batman trailed off as he grabbed Naruto by his blazer, dropped down on his back, and used his feet to propel the blonde Uzumaki over his own balcony, sending the richest man in the world falling over the balcony. Towards the hard concrete on the bottom floor, Naruto screaming his lungs out as he descended onto the ground head first. However, much to Batman's surprise, nothing out of the ordinary seemed to be happening, as it looked like Naruto was not going to suddenly develop any ninja abilities or superpowers, relief flooding Batman's system when, just on before Naruto's head splattered on the floor, his partner in crime, or rather, partner in heroism, came to the rescue, using his telekinetic powers to levitate the blonde Uzumaki, thereby saving him from an untimely death. Manhunter, search every nook and cranny of his mind, Batman said with authority. I do not see the need to violate this man's right to personal security and dignity any further. Isn't it clear that what you overheard from Supergirl and Batgirl's conversation amounts to some sort of misunderstanding? This man has no powers, and he certainly does not appear to have any form of combat training. The Martian Manhunter Jayons replied sagely, levitating himself and Uzumaki Naruto back up to the balcony. Did you come here to help me or not? You either do as I say or I find someone else to do it. It's really as simple as that. Batman said stubbornly, directing one of his death glares at the Manhunter. Fine, I will do it, but only to prove that you have gone too far this time around. Truth may be at the center of your motives, but justice does not prevail here. You are thinning the line between us and the forces we fight against, Batman. Jayon replied, his eyes glowing a menacing red as he deep-dived into the mind of Uzumaki Naruto, filtering everything through his mind in a matter of just 30 seconds before coming back to the world of reality. As I suspected, there is no justice to be found here. Naruto Uzumaki is not normal, his mind is very advanced, he is a one-of-a-kind genius after all, but that is as far as his abnormality goes. No ninja background, no superpowers, no kitsune alter ego. Just a regular 20-year-old billionaire genius. Jayon replied, causing Batman's eyes to narrow in confusion, unable to understand how it was possible that what Jayon said was true. He was certain about the reality of the conversation between Batgirl and Supergirl. After all, he had long planted his undetectable spyware on Batgirl's costume. He had seen every emotion and every expression on Supergirl's face, and had heard every word spoken between the two young ladies. He had also done voice analysis and confirmed that there were absolutely no lies spoken between the two of them. So how was this possible? How could it be that none of it was true? He just didn't understand it all, and there was nothing Bruce hated more than an unsolved mystery. I'll have to investigate from a different angle. Perhaps if I investigate and verify the existence of Kitsune instead of whether he is Naruto Uzumaki or not, then I can get to the bottom of this. I need to scour the underworld and find Kitsune. Batman thought with determination. Fine. It does not seem like there is anything else we can find here. Erase Naruto's memories of this encounter and let us get out here. Batman ordered, the Martian Manhunter obliging his colleague as he did exactly as ordered whilst also trying to think of a different explanation for the wound on Naruto's shoulder as he needed to implant a false memory for why he had such a deep cut on his shoulder. The question. I need to bring him in for this one. Between me, Manhunter, and question, we can get to the bottom of this. Bruce thought obsessively. Honestly, he would have liked to interrogate Supergirl herself, but how could he possibly explain how he knew about her conversation with Batgirl without giving himself away? It just wasn't possible, and there was also no way he could convince Supergirl not to tell Batgirl about it. He had no choice but to go about this the roundabout way, but whatever it took, Batman was not planning on giving up until he got to the bottom of this Kitsune mystery, because if even half of what Supergirl said was true, then it meant that a world-ending threat was hiding in plain sight, biding its time until it was ready to devour the human race. He wouldn't be Batman if he didn't do anything about something like that. Hell, he wouldn't be able to not do anything about it even if he tried. I'm done. We can go now. Manhunter said, Batman immediately calling for his cloaked Batplane as the two of them flew away from the scene of the crime, leaving an unconscious billionaire in their wake. Meanwhile, at MT Mayaboku. Interesting. This Batman person is one brave fella to have attacked you head-on like that. Stupid, but brave. Fukusaka said thoughtfully. He is a small green toad who looks quite old in terms of age, wearing a red and black cloak that is zipped at the middle. He, his wife, and Naruto had been watching Batman and the Martian Manhunter attack and interrogate Naruto's shadow clone, both of them having fallen for the bait that Naruto set up for them. Naruto, of course, being a ninja himself, having planted his own spyware on Supergirl in the form of surveillance fuinjutsu. Naruto had known, without a shadow of doubt, that if Barbara Gordon aka Batgirl knew about him, then inevitably Batman too would know what she knew. And if Batman knew, then he would be watching his every movement like a hawk. He could honestly say that he hadn't expected a direct assault like the one Batman had just made, but at the same time, as a ninja, it had been his duty to prepare for it nonetheless. Creating a human-level clone with altered memories had been the best course of action, because the lie needed to be 100% convincing, and for that to happen, the clone needed to believe its own lies. In other words, it needed not to even be aware of the fact that it was lying. The plan seemed to have worked like a charm, but Naruto was not going to rest on his laurels. Vigilance is a fundamental aspect of being a ninja, and seeing as Batman appeared to have ninja training himself, it was even more imperative that Naruto exercise extra caution and vigilance. Not that stupid. He did bring competent backup after all. The Martian Manhunter is a formidable warrior with some convenient and tricky powers to boot. Batman came prepared, he is not to be underestimated. Naruto retorted. What are you going to do now? And by that I mean, what are you going to do about Supergirl? She has betrayed you. Ninja code dictates that you eliminate the traitor. Traitors are not tolerated. Ma, otherwise known Fukusaku's wife, Shima, asked diabolically. I will not kill Supergirl, nor will I allow any of you to go behind my back and kill her. She is not to be touched, do you understand me? Naruto asked, blasting both Ma and Pa with a sizable dose of his most terrifying killing intent. Why yes, Naruto-sama. Forgive my loud-mouthed, short-sighted, and quite frankly stupid wife. Pa said apologetically. What did you s? Ma stopped in her tracks, her protest remaining stuck in her throat as Naruto increased the pressure on her. Forgive me for my foolishness, great Naruto-sama. I promise that we will allow none of the toads to make an attempt on the traitorous wench unless you give the order. Ma said fearfully, not fearfully enough Naruto supposed, seeing as she was still adamant about slandering Supergirl. I suppose it isn't slander if it's true. Naruto thought with a mental shake of the head. Fair enough. I must go now. Time waits for no man. Naruto said as he got up on his feet. Don't do anything I wouldn't do while I'm gone. Naruto said as he disappeared from the spot, along with the crystal ball that he had been using to watch over his clone with Ma and Pa. You stupid whore. Are you trying to get Naruto-sama to kill us? Huh. Pa exclaimed angrily. Don't you dare start with me, you spineless coward. Can't you see I'm only trying to look out for Naruto-sama? Ma retorted angrily, the old couple arguing like that for the next 15 minutes as neither of them was willing to relent to the other. Later that day. You've been giving me funny looks all day, why don't you just say what you want to say? Naruto said with a bored tone. He was in his office, which had been fixed on the same day that it was destroyed, the same day that he was subsequently kidnapped by the most notorious space bounty hunter in the universe. Together with him was Hourman and Poison Ivy, courtesy of his rotating security system, and of course, the person he was referring to was Poison Ivy, who had been giving him a combination of looks all day, some looks full of pity, others full of curiosity and others filled with concern. I'm concerned about you, of course. I mean, the world has gone mad and you're acting like nothing happened. Everyone is talking about this morning's Supergirl interview, you know, the one where she completely lost it when they asked her about you after she stopped a bank robbery. Poison Ivy said incredulously. The interview where she called me a pathological liar, a worthless man who doesn't deserve a good woman, and an untrustworthy, scandalous, possibly villainous individual? You mean that interview? Naruto asked rhetorically. Okay, so you do know about it. Why are you acting like nothing happened? Have you seen how much your stocks are dropping? Business confidence is dropping significantly for Wave Consolidated. You need to get out there and get ahead of this. Pamela said worriedly. I understand your concern. However, I hope you do remember what happened when I first hired you. Stocks and business confidence dropped even faster than they are now, and in 2 days, everyone had forgotten about the fact that I hired an eco-terrorist when I released my new state-of-the-art energy-conserving, clean energy project. I have had a new invention in the works for a while now. It should be ready for release in about a day or two. Naruto retorted. You sly dog you. You plan to leverage all the investors and buyers that have abandoned you and make even more money than you would have otherwise. You're using this debacle to your advantage. Hourman replied. After all, a ninja must be able to take advantage of any situation, positive or negative. Naruto retorted with a confident smirk. A ninja? Pamela thought with narrowed eyes, a conversation she had with Instant just yesterday replaying in her mind. The boss is more than capable of protecting himself. After all, with the exception of you, he personally trained all of us in how to fight. That is what Instant said, isn't it? So what is he, a ninja? But Instant said that he was more than just a mere meta-human. So he isn't just a meta-human, but a meta-human ninja? What kind of powers does he have? Pamela thought in frustration, sick and tired of being left out of the loop. A boss, I want you to train me, in the ninja ways I mean. I know you can fight, and I think you have superpowers too that you're hiding for some reason. I want the same treatment as everyone else. I've been nothing but dedicated and loyal to you from the beginning. I don't deserve to be treated like an outsider. Pamela said with determination. I guess, being a certified genius and all, it was only a matter of time before you figured that something was up. However, on that same account, of you being a genius that is, surely you know why I am finding it hard to trust you, don't you? Naruto asked rhetorically. Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? My past? You're going to bring that up? I haven't committed a single terrorist attack since I joined you. I bought and drank your Kool-Aid about rectifying the world through economic subterfuge, transformation, infiltration, and revolution. What the fuck else am I supposed to do to prove myself to you? Poison Ivy asked angrily. Answer the following questions. Do you or do you not still live and associate with national criminal maniac Harley Quinn and her crew, King Shark, Dr. Psycho, Clayface, Sylvester Borgman, and Frank the Plant? Have you not gone on criminal missions with them on your off days, and in those missions, have you not killed innocent people? Are you not dating a villain known as Kite Man? Naruto asked rhetorically. I have you been spying on me all this time? Pamela asked furiously. You just asked him for ninja training and you're surprised that he has been spying on you? What is it that you think ninjas do anyway? Hourman asked incredulously. I'm being judged because of who I associate with? Last time I checked, freedom of association was a fundamental constitutional right. Pamela exclaimed angrily. True, but that applies to both of us. You live with villains, you are a former villain, technically still are, and you're dating a villain that you're cheating on with your best friend, who is a villain herself. Think about it, Pamela, if you were me, and you knew what I know about you, would you trust you? Naruto asked rhetorically. Are you saying I have to abandon my friends, break up with my boyfriend, and basically leave every human connection I have in order for you to trust me? Are you sure that is the version of me you want? Do you even want me at all? Pamela asked hurtfully. I'm saying that the jury is still out on you. However, trust this, if I didn't want you at all, you wouldn't be here. You have great potential, Pamela, there is so much I could teach you. I could make you so much stronger than you are too. And no, I'm not asking you to sever your human ties, how you live your private life is entirely your choice, however, you must realize that those choices have consequence, and consequently, they are making it hard for me to trust you. Especially when you have been sharing information about the daily happenings at Wave Consolidated with your villainous friends. Naruto replied, Pamela looking away in shame as she realized that there was nothing she could do or say to defend herself, because everything that was just said about her was true. Sure, she hasn't intended to cause any harm to Wave Consolidated when she said those things to Harley. In fact, she had gone out of her way to make sure Harley understood that nothing that was said between them could be used for her criminal endeavor, nor could what was said ever leave her lips. However, She also understood how her sharing that information with Harley could have such a negative effect on her boss's ability to trust her or to trust her judgment. She knew Harley would never betray her, but her boss didn't know Harley like she did, nor did Pamela think he even cared to know her any better. It really did seem like Pamela was going to have to choose between her work and her friends, that is to say, if she ever wanted to feel or in fact be important to the organization. It also didn't help that her boss knew about her illicit affair with Harley, because cheating on a spouse can also say a lot about a person's character. At the very least, it can cause others to view the person doing the cheating as an immoral and untrustworthy person. And justifiably so, Pamela had to admit. Okay, I'll admit I may not have the best case in the world for why you should trust me. In fact, all I have is my word and my bond, but clearly that doesn't mean much right now, and I realize and accept the reasons for that. I will be taking a good, long, and hard look at myself and see what changes I need to make, and if in fact I am willing to make said changes. Pamela said sincerely. Well, I couldn't ask you for any more than that. Also, I am not asking you to change who you are, simply that you pay more attention to your actions and how they affect your position, status, and of course whether or not they have the potential to hinder your goals and ambitions. Personally, I like you very much, and believe it or not, I care a lot for you. In fact, everyone here has taken a liking to you. However, a ninja never makes decisions based solely on emotions. Consider that to be lesson number 1. Naruto said with a small smile, Pamela's eyes widening as realization dawned on her, realizing that her boss was extending an olive branch for her, as that could technically, and in fact literally, be considered to be her first ninja lesson. Why yes, boss. I'll remember that. Pamela said with a beautiful smile. Good, now get out of my hair, both of you. I need to meditate over a few issues, mostly concerning how to deal with the media mess that Supergirl has again created for me and Wave Consolidated. Naruto said grumpily, the conflict with Supergirl clearly weighing heavy on his mind. His bodyguards realized, nevertheless giving their boss the time and space that he needed to process everything, especially with the breakup being so fresh, as it was only just over 24 hours since the breakup. Later that evening. Where is Lobo taking you exactly? And did you just put a target on our father's back? Why did you tell Lobo that father is the second best bounty hunter in the universe? Rose asked incredulously. They were in the Hive main base in the Kerguelen Islands, and she was dressed in her Hive Queen uniform, whereas Naruto was in his Kitsune outfit, only that neither of them had their headgear on. Joseph was also in his Jericho uniform, a uniform that was designed to absorb and disperse kinetic energy or allow for it to be reused by Jericho himself in order to boost his physical prowess. I have no idea where he is taking me, and naturally, he wouldn't tell me, because if he did, I could just simply go there myself. His services would no longer be required. Naruto replied simply. As for father, it wasn't so much as me painting a target on his back, more than me broadening his horizons. If word gets out in the universe that he is the second best bounty hunter in the universe, then he will get missions not just from all over planet Earth, but from all over the universe. Besides, it's not like I was lying, it is my genuine opinion that he is indeed the second best in the universe. Naruto said with a casual shrug of the shoulders. Speaking of which, did you know that he has now joined the League of Shadows? Can you believe it? He wouldn't join us, but he goes and joins the League of Shadows instead? What gives? Rose asked in frustration. This has to mean that he has chosen to work against us. I can't imagine it could mean anything else. I can't even read his mind anymore, because he went and somehow got himself a telepathic frequency jamming device of some sort. Joseph said angrily. Father would never join the League of Shadows. He doesn't believe in working for anyone, he is and has always been his own boss. If he is in the League of Shadows, then it can only be because it serves his own ends. Perhaps he has a target that is inside the League, perhaps the demon himself is his target, or maybe he wants to take over the whole operation and use it for his own ends. Whatever the case may be, trust me on one thing, Deathstroke is no one's lackey. Naruto said without a shadow of doubt. Fine, whatever. Joseph said with a little bit of petulance in his tone and demeanor. What of Lady Shiva? How long do you intend to keep her prisoner? Naruto asked curiously. Well. Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. It's complicated. I mean, both you and Joseph have read her mind and confirmed her loyalty to us and the cause, but I just can't trust her. It's not so long ago that she was completely loyal to the jackal, and now I'm supposed to believe she is suddenly loyal to us? It just doesn't make sense to me, no matter what your psychic mind-reading powers say. Rose said stubbornly. You can't just keep her prisoner forever. She can be a valuable asset or a dangerous enemy. If you decide she is an asset, then release her and allow her to be that asset, and if you decide she is a dangerous enemy, then execute her already. Keeping her around for no reason is both cruel and reckless. You have until I get back from wherever Lobo is taking me to decide what to do. Naruto said with authority. Fine, whatever. You guys do whatever you want with her. I don't want any part of this, and she better not get too close to me. Rose said in frustration. Then it is decided. She will be Joseph's partner and bodyguard. The Royal Flush Unit will also serve under you, Joseph. Naruto instructed. Is that why you had me recruit and train them? Joseph asked curiously. Yes, I always intended for them to be the unit that serves directly under your command, the same way I intend for the Ultimen to serve directly under Rose. Naruto replied. And who would serve under you? Rose asked suspiciously. My team from Wave Consolidated, of course. I haven't decided on a name for the team yet, but I was thinking about Akatsuki as a name. It has a nice ring to it. Naruto replied. Red Dawn. Sounds perfect. But does this mean what I think it does? Rose asked excitedly. Yes, it does. I have told my team about Hive and they have all agreed to join the Hive. Instant, Hourman, Brainwave, Painkiller, Looker, and Hack, they are now all members of the Hive. Naruto explained. What about Poison Ivy? Joseph asked with concern. She knows something more is going on at Wave Consolidated, but that is all she knows. She has yet to earn my trust. She's still a work in progress. Naruto replied. And the Enchantress? What is she in all of this? Rose asked with intrigue. She is also a work in progress. The first step was to get her a proper, uncompromised vessel, and we found one, a host body of a woman that had recently become deceased due to drowning. She matched the physical characteristics that Enchantress required, and because the woman was legitimately dead, the body had no soul in it. Consequently, June Moon is free and Enchantress has her very own physical form. The next phase is in progress, which is to say, training, education, and bonding. When that is done, she will serve directly under me as a member of Akatsuki of the Hive. Naruto explained. Sounds good to me. Joseph, what about you? Rose asked. It sounds great. There is only one problem I have though, and that is the balance of the teams. Your team has 3 telepaths, those being you, Brainwave, and Enchantress. My team has 2 telepaths, and those are me and Ace. But Rose's team does not have a telepath whatsoever, as there is no telepath in the Ultimen. Joseph said with concern. That is indeed a problem, and I have in fact been thinking about it. I have been looking for a new member for Rose's team, but it's going to take some time before I find one, test them, and verify whether they can be trusted or even if they would make a suitable member for our organization. Naruto replied. Why don't we just change teams? If Rose gets the Royal Flush Unit and I get the Ultimen, then it will be problem solved, just like that. Joseph replied. That too has crossed my mind. But we are dealing with people here, Joseph, not objects. You don't just move people around like that. The Royal Flush Unit have already bonded with you. You are their savior and liberator, and you are the one that has been training them. They trust you, they revere you. I can't even imagine the kind of abandonment issues and resentment they would have if you gave them away to someone else, certainly at this stage of their development. Naruto explained. You're right. Okay, I guess that was a pretty bad idea. But what about Brainwave? The Akatsuki will still have you, and I doubt Brainwave wouldn't be able to understand the situation if you explained it to him. Joseph said desperately, unable to handle the thought of leaving his beloved sister's mind unprotected. Very well. I'll talk to Brainwave as soon as possible. I'm sure he won't mind if I lend him to Rose until we are able to recruit another telepath. Naruto retorted. You guys are acting like they sell telepaths at the candy store or something. And even if we find one, finding a loyal one that shares the same beliefs as us is going to be an even harder task. Rose argued. If we do not find another one, then it isn't an issue. All it means is that brainwaves transfer will become permanent. Joseph said as if it was the most obvious thing in the world, Rose looking at Naruto for confirmation as she was unsure if her brother would so willingly give away one of his friends and close comrades. Well, it isn't like I will never see him again. We would still be in the same organization. Besides, my sister's safety takes priority over everything else. Naruto said with a shrug of the shoulders. The following day, Justice League headquarters. You can't be serious. You're telling us that Uzumaki Naruto is a god? And we are supposed to believe this? Why? Diana aka Wonder Woman asked incredulously. Lady, we just spent an hour watching and listening to a video recording of a conversation between Supergirl and Batwoman where Supergirl vividly described everything that transpired between her and Uzumaki Naruto. What more evidence could you ask for? Jon Stewart asked incredulously. I don't know, perhaps video evidence of Uzumaki Naruto himself fighting Lobo. Diana retorted. Kara mentioned that Naruto's real name is Nathaniel Wilson. She also mentioned that he is Slade Wilson aka Deathstroke the Terminator's son. Knowing you, Batman, there is no way you would have made this presentation without first confirming for yourself at least some of this stuff. Superman said with an inquiring tone. Manhunter and I did some recon. We managed Naruto Uzumaki and we even managed to get some DNA samples, or so we thought. Batman began only to be cut off by Black Canary. How exactly did you interrogate him? Canary asked suspiciously. And what do you mean by so you thought? You either got the DNA samples or you didn't, there is no middle ground here. Diana asked confusedly. I physically interrogated him and Manhunter used his telepathy to search his mind. We both came up empty, which was rather suspicious in itself. He seemed much too clean, and it felt like we were the ones who had walked into a trap and not the other way around. My suspicions were confirmed when I arrived at the Batcave, more specifically, when I tried to test the DNA samples. The blood that was on the bait ring was gone, not even a trace of it. Like it was never there to begin with, as if it just poofed out of existence. Batman explained, capturing the entire room's attention. Captain Atom and Hawkgirl, who both initially seemed disinterested, all of a sudden leaning forward as they both frowned in concentration. So you were unable to prove that Naruto's DNA is that of a new god, nor that he is related to Deathstroke the Terminator? Well, there is no guarantee you would have been able to prove it anyway. I doubt regular DNA tests would work on new god DNA. Captain Atom retorted. Perhaps, but I would have liked to try nonetheless. In any case, as you all have heard, Naruto's Nathaniel's alias is Kitsune the Toad Sage, so I decided to do some digging on Kitsune. Granted, I did not have much time, but I was able to get some leads by following Deathstroke's history. I figured if he really was Deathstroke's son, and he too was a mercenary, then he must have, at some point, been trained by Deathstroke himself, and if he was, then it goes without saying that they would have worked together at some point before Nathaniel broke off on his own. Batman explained. Kind of like you and Nightwing. Green Arrow replied. Or you and Red Arrow. Batman retorted. Touché. Green Arrow said sheepishly. And? Did you find anything? Diana asked curiously. I did. Indeed, it does turn out that Deathstroke had a partner at some point in the past. In fact, for about 5 years, he had been seen working alongside a very young individual whose outfit matches what Supergirl described to be Kitsune's combat outfit. Batman replied. How long ago was this? Diana asked curiously. From about 10 years ago to about 5 years ago. After that, there are no official records of Kitsune being active anywhere, but the fact that 3 years after that Naruto starts what would quickly become the largest and most profitable enterprise in the world leads me to believe that in fact, Kitsune had been active all those years. I suspect that he still is, and even if he isn't, that would just make it all the more suspicious. Batman explained his reasoning. In other words, you won't be satisfied until you know every single detail about him. Flash said with exasperation, honestly not sure what to think about how much of a control freak Batman was, although given the number of times Batman's need to know everything about everyone had saved them, he really had no room to complain. Because he knew that Batman would just remind him of all the times that his information had helped them or outright saved their butts. That is precisely the point, Flash. Knowledge is power, you of all people should know that, being a forensic investigator and all. Batman countered. And there he goes, right on cue. Flash thought with exasperation. What about the Uzumaki ninja clan that Supergirl spoke of? Green Arrow asked warily, fully aware of how dangerous a ninja organization could be, having dealt with the League of Shadows himself just like Batman had. Naruto's listed parents are Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. However, apart from being known associates of Slade Wilson, their records are squeaky clean, not even a parking ticket. Batman replied. Oh. Now that is suspicious. I can't remember a single time that a squeaky clean record belonged to an actually squeaky clean person. That's a red flag. Green Arrow replied. My thoughts exactly. However, I was unable to find anything on the Uzumaki clan despite my best efforts. Batman said tensely, clearly struggling to admit that he of all people had been unable to solve a mystery. Still, we know that Naruto's parents had close associations with Slade Wilson, and we know that there is an Uzumaki ninja clan based on Supergirl's testimony. Assuming everything that Supergirl said is true, then what is happening here is quite clear. Slade Wilson, for whatever reason, had Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki raise his son and train him in the ninja ways. He would later take over his son's training and they would work together as a team. His son would become one of the most dangerous unknown people in the world. End of story. Captain Atom said, simplifying the whole thing for himself and everyone else. So you believe him? You believe Naruto is actually Nathaniel Wilson, and he is a new god? Diana asked curiously. I do. The only question is who exactly is his mother? If she is a new god, then she herself is quite dangerous. Where is she? Has she been involved in Nathaniel's life, or has she left the planet entirely? Does she ever intend to return? And what exactly is a new god anyway? Captain Atom asked curiously. Probably an alien so powerful that people on Earth thought it had to be a god, or the alien itself dubbed itself a god. Green Arrow said pessimistically. That's not true. New gods actually do exist, and they have been here on Earth before. It's a long story, but trust me when I say, they are as real as Zeus and Poseidon. Diana said gravely. Whatever the case may be, we need more information about Naruto or Nathaniel or whatever he considers himself to be. Diana, being a god yourself allegedly, would there be a way for you to confirm if he is who he says he is or not? Green Arrow asked inquisitively. Not if he is going out of his way to hide who he is. It might be very hard even for me, especially since he is not an old god but a new god of Apocalypse. Diana replied. What's the difference? Batman asked suspiciously, kind of miffed at himself for not having considered the possibility that there was a fundamental difference between the two species of gods. Old god powers are rooted in celestial magic, but new god powers derive from cosmic energies. Put simply, new gods are functionally comprised of celestial metaphysics, whereas old gods are celestial magic. Diana explained. Another way of looking at it is that the gap between human sorcerers and old gods is more or less equivalent to the gap between meta-humans and new gods. Dr. Fate spoke for the first time since the meeting began, causing Batman to narrow his eyes at Dr. Fate, having wondered the whole time why Fate of all people hadn't spoken up on the subject matter, especially when it involved cosmic and celestial beings. So basically we pale in comparison to them. Great. Flash said with exasperation. Care to share some of your thoughts on Kitsune, Dr. Fate? Batman asked with a noticeable edge to his tone. No, actually. I care not, as I am honor-bound not to directly or indirectly interfere in Kitsune's business. Fate retorted, dropping a bomb right in the middle of the watchtower. You know him? Hal Jordan exclaimed in shock. We chat occasionally. I do not know if I can say we are friends, but we certainly are not enemies. Fate replied, leaving everyone's jaw on the ground in shock, even Batman. "You're telling me this entire meeting could have been over in 5 minutes and yet you sat there and allowed it to drag on because what? Because you're sleeping with the enemy," Jon Stewart said angrily. "It is as I said, I am honor-bound to never betray Nathaniel Wilson. He helped me once on a mission I foolishly tried to complete alone against 3 Lords of Chaos. Were it not for him, not only would I have lost my life, but the very fabric of our reality would now be at the hands of Chaos." Fate replied. "You're telling me that Kitsune saved our entire reality?" Captain Atom asked incredulously. "Precisely. In return, he asked that I never work against him, nor would he against me. He even offered me a means to contact him whenever I was in need of his help again, and he has kept his word. He has helped me solve some cases and to stop some very bad instruments of chaos. I don't expect you to trust him per se, nor me for that matter, but trust this, Nathaniel means no harm to mankind or planet Earth." Fate retorted. "If you're so certain about his intentions, then why haven't you invited him to join the League?" Also, Kara said that she felt like she was in the presence of an enemy whenever she was in Kitsune's presence, like she had to fight hard to stop herself from instinctively attacking him. "So my question is, how do you feel in his presence?" Superman asked curiously. "I do not think he would be a good fit for the League. Nathaniel is a leader, not a follower. He is also a free and independent thinker, and has an ethical but versatile set of morals. He would inevitably clash with the League. Essentially, that is to say, he has the same or similar goals to the League, but has a different moral or ethical code. His is not as rigid as ours." Fate tried to explain. "Meaning he does whatever he wants and whenever he wants. Sounds like a typical villain to me," Batman said sternly. "And there is my point exactly. The minute someone has a different set of morals and ethics, we automatically assume our way is the right way and his is the wrong way, and we label him a villain." Fate replied sagely. "That's not exactly how it works and you know it," Jon Stewart protested. "It isn't exactly not true either. In any case, the only thing I'm interested in is whether Kitsune has or continues to harm or kill the innocent," Captain Marvel retorted. "And what will you do if he has and continues to harm and kill not the innocent, but the guilty?" Fate asked gravely. "Killing is wrong, no matter the reasons," Captain Marvel retorted. "Says who? Whose standard is that? Who made that law? Religion? Not everyone is religious, and it is in fact a fundamental right that no one should be compelled to follow any religion if they do not desire to follow one. Where does that leave us? The law. Who made the law? The government? Does the government not kill? How many people has the US government alone killed in the past month, never mind since the last democratic elections? Why haven't you or any of us done anything about it? Last time I checked, only the Constitution itself has sovereignty and not the government. Yet none of us ever do anything about all of the crimes against humanity committed by most governments in the world, more especially the US government. So again I ask, who says that it is bad to kill evil people? Who gave you authority to stop the people that do kill those people? Does your belief system take precedence over those of others?" Fate asked inquisitively, eliciting a deathly silence in the watchtower as everyone struggled to come up with answers to the deep and tricky questions. Perhaps it is all about power then? Those with power decide what is right and what is wrong? The Justice League have power, so we enforce our ideals on others. That's not true. The Justice League protect those who cannot protect themselves. Jon Stewart protested. And so does Kitsune. The only difference is that he doesn't also protect those who would harm the helpless, he gets rid of them. Fate replied. He has no right to decide who lives and who dies. Batman argued. By that logic, neither do we. What gives us the right to decide that Joker should live to kill another 1,000 or so innocent lives? Or that General Zod and Lex Luthor should live to kill again and again and again? We have the power to save the lives that they continue to take, but we do not. Are we not playing God ourselves? Fate counter-argued. What are you saying, Fate? You want the Justice League to start killing people? Flash asked incredulously. No, I am merely trying to get you to see that not everyone agrees with our philosophies, and that there is no proof that ours are right and theirs are wrong. Granted, I think we can all agree that killing the innocent or oppressing the innocent is just plain wrong. That one cannot be debated on any scale of reasonability. It can also be easily determined that there are those who deserve a chance at rehabilitation and redemption. That is a worthy cause. However, what about people like the Joker and Lex Luthor? People who have had multiple opportunities at redemption only to spit at those opportunities and go on to harm hundreds and thousands of people. How many must suffer and die for their redemption? Fate trailed off, leaving the members of the League to figure the rest out for themselves. I can see that we all have much to think about. Perhaps we should adjourn and reconvene when we have all had a chance to clear our minds. Before we go though, let me be frank with you all. I value the League, and while I do not always agree with the League's ideals, I do respect them and always try my best to honor those ideals. However, I will not take any action against Nathaniel, nor will I assist in any matter designed to conspire against him. I will not tattletale, but I will not assist either. Fate said with finality. Thank you, Dr. Fate. Your stance is received, accepted, and respected, at least as far as I am concerned. However, due to Narunath Kitsun's relationship with my cousin, and as chairman of the League and elected champion of justice, I feel compelled to look deep into the matter, and perhaps even have a parley with Kitsun. I have to verify the threat level, and in doing so, I give my blessing to any League member who wishes to take similar action. Superman replied humbly, but also with authority. Thank you, Superman. You do me great honor with your kind and humble words. Fate replied. With that being said, I move to have this meeting adjourned. Batman, Manhunter, continue your investigation, but you may not attack Naruto Uzumaki again. Not until you have presented us with proof of wrongdoing. Justice League, you may now all be dismissed. Superman ordered authoritatively. 5 minutes later. Wait for me, Fate. Wonder Woman exclaimed, quickly catching up to Dr. Fate before he could enter his magically constructed portal. Please take me with you. I wish to further discuss the issue of Nathaniel Wilson with you. New gods of Apocalypse are dangerous and evil. That is what I have been taught since I was a child. For one that has a meta-human father to exist, to be raised on planet Earth, and to be good friends with Dr. Fate, is an anomaly to say the least. I do not wish to intrude, but I would appreciate it if you could invite me to the Tower of Fate for a deeper discussion on the matter. Diana pleaded. You are curious about Nathaniel, you wish to know him better, on a more personal level. For platonic reasons, or for more intimate reasons, I wonder. Fate asked curiously. Why, you misunderstand, I don't like him like that, I don't even know him. Diana exclaimed indignantly. No, you do not know him. However, you are a gods who has never had the pleasure of mingling with her kind. You thought you found someone you could bond with when you and Superman got together, but he left you for a mere human woman, and now you find yourself all alone again. But here now comes a meta-human new god hybrid, a person born of 2 worlds, just like you, an Amazon old god hybrid. Curiosity killed the cat Diana, and consequently, it will kill you, or make you the luckiest and happiest gods in the universe. Fate, and only Fate will decide. Fate said sagely, Diana honestly not knowing what to say in response, as Fate had just unearthed feelings and thoughts that she wasn't even consciously aware that she had. Another woman's trash is another's treasure. Come with me, Diana, perhaps Supergirl's loss will be your gain, or perhaps not. Either way, Fate awaits you, and welcomes you. Fate said as he walked into the portal, Diana following suit as she too allowed her feet to drag her forward. Welcome, Diana, to the Tower of Fate. Fate trailed off in surprise, unable to believe just how quickly Fate had acted, as there, right in front of him, more specifically, right in front of Kent Nelson's wife, Inza, was Kitsun, playing chess with his wife. Fate. It's been a while, old friend. Forgive me for wearing my mask, but I sensed you were not alone and felt the need to put it back on. Anyway, you arrived just in time, I was just about to give your wife a good old ass spanking. Kitsun said with a friendly tone, relatively speaking of course, as the tone of his voice was more terrifying than friendly, at least to those who were not accustomed to hearing it. Fate has intervened faster than could have reasonably been expected, don't you think, Diana? Fate asked rhetorically. I. Diana stuttered, unable to form a single coherent word, never mind a phrase or an entire sentence. Did he just say he was going to spank your wife? Diana asked indignantly as her thoughts became more coherent. Figuratively speaking, of course. At least I hope that is what he means. Kitsune, like his namesake, is quite the trickster. Fate retorted. Diana of Themyscira. Honestly, I was hoping to never run into a Justice League member, but I guess fate has once again intervened. Get it? Because Dr. Fate brought you here? Hee. I can never get enough of those puns, Kitsune chuckled. In any case, seeing you here, in person, and taking in your magnificent aura and presence, I can only say that it is a most wonderful pleasure to be in your presence. Kitsune said sincerely. Thank you. I'm not really sure I know how your presence makes me feel, but I'm pleasantly surprised to see you. I came here to ask Dr. Fate some questions about you, but meeting you in person is so much better. Now I can just ask you directly. Diana replied. I see. Well, I mainly just came to say goodbye to the doctor and his madam, but I guess I definitely can and will make time for Wonder Woman. I mean, who wouldn't? Kitsune said elatedly. I can't remember the last time I ever received such a warm welcome, certainly never from a god before. Diana said with a light blush. Ahem. Fate coughed, cutting deep through the flirtations that were taking place as if he and his wife were not even there. You said you came here to say goodbye, why? Where are you going? Why would you say goodbye unless you didn't think you were coming back? Fate asked warily. Two new gods of Apocalypse known as Scott-Free aka Mr. Miracle and Big Barda hired Lobo the space bounty hunter to abduct me and take me to them. Scott-Free is leader of Apocalypse, Lord Darkseid's adopted son, and biological son of the leader of New Genesis, High Father. He is special, possessing a great cosmic power known as the Alpha Effect. Big Barda is the daughter of Big Brita. She is a powerful warrior. In fact, last time I checked, she was the leader of the all-female elite warrior unit of Apocalypse, the Furies. Kitsune explained. Leader of the Furies, the all-female organization to which your mother belongs? Does this mean she is more powerful than your mother? Fate asked warily. Not definitely, but most likely. Kitsune replied. You do not think you can defeat them, Barda and Scott-Free? Fate asked warily. All the information I have about them is from my mother's files. I have never encountered them, and therefore have no true measure of their skill and power. However, the fact that they know about me could mean that my mother is in danger. I have to hunt them down and deal with them, that is of course, if they are the threat to my mother, or if they have killed or harmed her in any way whatsoever. Kitsune said with determination. What of Lobo? What will you do about him? How do you know he was hired to kidnap you, seeing as you are still here? Did you already deal with him? Inza asked with concern. They already fought and Kitsune defeated him, but allowed him to live. That is of course, according to intel we got from Supergirl. Fate replied. So Batman decided to share that intel with the League? What a troublesome fella. Kitsune said casually. You are correct, of course. I have allowed Lobo to live so that he can take me to Scott-Free and Big Barda. Without knowing exactly what they are capable of, I felt it prudent that I initially play possum and hit them with the element of surprise. Kitsune replied. I could go with you. I owe you at least that much, and besides, I would be honored to fight alongside you, especially when it concerns the safety of something as important to you as your mother. Fate replied. Thanks, but no thanks. The element of surprise will vanish if I go with you. Besides, I only came to say goodbye in case I am gone for a long time. I have every intention of coming back though. I just don't know how long I will be gone. Kitsune replied with conviction. What if this is a trap? What if Darkseid is the one that is waiting for you at the end of your journey? Fate asked warily. All the more reason for you to stay put. I have a contingency for dealing with Darkseid. I've been preparing for him since I was born. I have allies and friends who I have also prepared for that war. You need not stain your hands, nor should you cause Inza any unnecessary stress. Kitsune replied. Fate, can you track him when he goes and then teleport me to him when the time comes? I'm not letting him go and face those monsters alone. Diana said mentally, hoping that Fate would catch her thoughts with his telepathic juju. You do realize that Kitsune is one of, if not the strongest telepath in the world, right? He will, or has already picked up on our telepathic communication. Fate retorted. I don't care. I'm not letting him go out there alone. If you won't help me, I'll find someone else to help me. Diana said stubbornly, Fate starting to wonder if a good and pure heart automatically came with a stubborn mind. You'll have to find someone else. I cannot and will not betray Nathaniel. Later that evening, bang 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 bang. What the hell? Wonder Woman. Naruto thought in dismay, wondering if this was what people meant when they talked about a déjà vu, as he saw Wonder Woman floating outside of his penthouse window, banging on his window and demanding that he let her in, just like a certain caped superheroine once did. What are you doing here? Naruto asked as he opened the window for her to quickly come in, hoping that no one had actually seen her hovering outside of his window. I'm here to stick to you like glue. You quickly disappeared into a portal and ran away after I asked Fate to teleport me to you. You caught our telepathic communication, didn't you? Well, I'm not going anywhere, or rather, you are not going anywhere without me. Diana insisted. So what, you're going to babysit me until Lobo comes to pick me up? Naruto asked incredulously, Diana's eyes widening in surprise all of a sudden. What? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Why, you really are Kitsune then? Diana asked, surprised. I thought you already knew that. Naruto said incredulously. You were wearing a mask at the Tower of Fate, and your voice was completely different. Honestly, I still had my doubts, but this pretty much confirms it. Diana retorted. I figured it would be hard to believe, it isn't a very good cover identity if people can easily believe it. But you're like a dog with a bone, it's easy to tell that nothing short of killing you or knocking you unconscious would make you give up on this course of action. Naruto retorted. Does that vex you? Diana asked. It both vexes me and intrigues me weirdly enough. Naruto retorted as he sat down on his couch, Diana also inviting herself onto the couch as she sat down across the blonde Uzumaki. So how did you and Supergirl meet? I mean, I know how you met, but how did you know? Diana asked with a light blush, her curiosity once again getting the better of her as she asked what she knew was both a personal question and a bit of a sore spot given the recent and very public breakup of the two. It wasn't so different to how you and I have met. The first encounter was random luck, fate, I suppose. The second encounter was her coming to visit me in my penthouse late in the evening, hovering over the exact same window you were and banging on it in order to get my attention. The difference is that she didn't come to protect me but to seduce me and confess her feelings. Naruto retorted. So she initiated everything? Interesting. Diana said thoughtfully. I hope you are not here to seduce me. I don't think I'll be able to resist arguably the most beautiful woman on the planet, perhaps even in the universe. Nor would I want to. But that isn't the problem. The problem is that I am fresh from a terrible breakup with a woman I loved who betrayed me. So my trust in women, and my willingness to commit myself to one, are extremely low right now. Naruto replied. Thank you, I appreciate your honesty. But I am not here to seduce you, I am here because I believe you need a friend right now. I am here simply to be here for you, as a friend. Besides, knowing what I know, about where you're going, and who you will go up against, I cannot, in my right mind, allow you to go through that alone. If anyone threatened my mother like that, I think it would be reassuring to have someone to watch my back. Diana replied sincerely. You are pure of heart, it seems. But so was Supergirl, and she still betrayed me. A pure heart is not necessarily a good thing, as they say, too much of anything is a bad thing. If the glass is full of milk, the milk will begin to spill, and when it does, it will make a mess. Naruto replied. Then let us hope that unlike Supergirl, I have the right quantity of milk. Diana replied coyly, causing Naruto to laugh harder than he thought possible at that moment, both amused and impressed by the female wonder from Themyscira. Alright, I'll accept your help, if only as a way to verify your true intentions. Naruto replied. You have nothing to fear. This has nothing to do with the Justice League, this is just a friend helping out a friend. Besides, I wasn't giving you a choice in the matter. I was going to come with you whether you wanted my help or not. Diana said with a beautiful smile. I'm not sure we can convince Lobo to take you with us, I mean, he's not getting paid to hee. Naruto laughed suddenly as an idea quickly formed in his mind. What is so funny? Diana asked curiously. You intended to use your lasso on him, didn't you? To make him tell you where he is taking me and how to get there. Naruto asked curiously. And what is so funny about that? It's a perfectly sound plan. Diana said with a confused frown. That isn't what is funny. What is funny is that there is a rather simple solution to all of this. I could just hire Lobo to kidnap you and take you to Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. That way, he will have no choice but to take you with me. Naruto said with a mischievous smirk, causing Wonder Woman to start laughing as well as she finally got the joke. You sly dog. I can just imagine the look on Lobo's face. Fate was right about you, you really are a trickster. Diana laughed heartily, Naruto looking at her like he was seeing her for the very first time in that moment, unable to believe what a beautiful smile this goddess possessed. Damn. It's happening all over again. I'm falling into her trap. Naruto thought warily, only to be broken from his thoughts by the sound of his window exploding, turning around to see none other than his ex-girlfriend hovering in the air, eyes glowing a menacing red as she stared at him and Diana with murderous rage. Kara. What the fuck? Naruto said in both anger and confusion, for a moment wondering if Kara was actually going to go through with it and blast them both with her heat vision as her eyes seemed to be glowing brighter and brighter before, without warning, she was gone. Disappearing with a sonic boom as she flew away at Mach 2 speed. That looks like a very angry and jealous ex-girlfriend. Diana deadpanned. She's the one that dumped me though. Only 2 days ago, and you are already in the arms of another beautiful superheroine, Diana retorted. But I'm not in your arms. Naruto said incredulously. Try convincing her of that. Diana retorted. Shit. She better not foolishly share this with the media. She really has become a media whore since her first media interview, hasn't she? Naruto thought out loud. She's young, and consequently foolish. She will outgrow those tendencies. Diana said in defense of her fellow heroine. Maybe I should talk to her before I go. Maybe that will help. He seems to be in a lot of pain. Naruto said with concern. You would do that for? Despite how she betrayed you and broke your heart? Diana asked with more curiosity than anything else. I mean, I don't hate her or anything like that. I still care about her, a lot. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't want to be the source of her pain. Naruto replied, causing Diana to smile warmly at Naruto. Then you are an even greater man than I imagined, Nathaniel. I was right to come here, so that I can meet this side of you, and I am even more determined now to fight alongside you, and to protect you. Diana said warmly. Fate, I think I am starting to understand why you are so attached to Nathaniel. He is a noble man, a noble god. Diana thought warmly, seeds of affection become slowly sown directly into her heart. So, did you talk to her? Diana asked curiously. They were in Lobo's warship, something that Diana didn't even know that Lobo had. Lobo had power-suppressing inhibitors locked around their ankles, their necks, and their arms, and had them locked in adjacent cells that were entirely made of force field generators. The warship itself was state-of-the-art, the technology inside of it rivaling even Kryptonian technology as far as Diana could tell, which was saying something, because Diana had never seen any technology that even approached Kryptonian tech. Who? Supergirl? Yeah, well, I'm busy talking to her right now actually. Naruto replied casually. I don't understand. How are you doing that all the way from here? We are literally galaxies away from Earth. Diana asked confusedly. My shadow clone is talking to her. Think of it as an extension of me, where everything that the shadow clone experiences and every memory that it has is returned to me when it dispels. I've also recently modified the technique so that I can even simultaneously experience what the clone experiences and directly control it even from across the universe. Naruto replied, Diana's mouth agape in surprise and awe. You mean to tell me that you're talking to her right now while also talking to me? How are you able to give us both your undivided attention? Diana asked curiously. Well, my mind I guess is just that flexible. I am arguably the best telepath and empathy in the universe. I can apply my mind in all sorts of ways. I do however hope that it does not offend you that I am talking to both of you at the same time. Naruto said sincerely. And no, not at all. I mean, I could see how it could be offensive, but right now I am just in too much awe to be offended. Diana replied innocently. She's very open-minded. Perhaps she and I really will get along. Naruto thought, even though, as far as he was concerned, the fact that she would go this far for him, without even knowing him that well, but just because she felt he needed to have someone by his side through this ordeal, was already enough for him to consider her as a very good person. And consequently, questioning and verifying her intentions was just him being himself, that being, the best shinobi in the world. I see. Anyway, there is something that I found a little peculiar about you. Naruto trailed off. What is it? Diana asked innocently. Well, when Lobo initially took us into space, he was carrying us on his space bike or whatever you call that thing. And I couldn't help but notice you suffocating to death. I wasn't aware that Olympians were unable to survive in the vacuum of space. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they can survive in the vacuum of space, as am I that you are indeed an Olympian. So what gives? Naruto asked with a quirked eyebrow. I've actually never thought about whether Olympians can survive the vacuum of space or not, and I never even considered that I could ever survive without oxygen. Honestly, Nathaniel, I am at a loss of words. I have no answer for you. I'm probably more confused than you are. Diana said a little self-consciously, feeling a little inadequate now that she was in the presence of another god who seemed to have powers that she could only dream of. I see. Well, I have a theory. You see, I too, once upon a time, needed to breathe oxygen, to eat, to sleep, and all that other stuff. Not as much as normal humans admittedly, or even meta-humans, but I did nonetheless. Naruto replied. What changed? Diana asked eagerly. My power grew too strong for the seal that was suppressing my power, which brings us to what I think is happening to you. Naruto said cryptically. You think my power is sealed away? Diana asked with both surprise and concern. I believe so. I do not think you have access to all of your potential. Something is suppressing your full power. Perhaps it was a fail-safe or something, who knows? The most important thing is that I can break the seal and unleash your full power, but now is probably not the right time. We have no idea what could happen to this ship if we unsealed your power right now, nor how long it would take before you could master it. A weapon can be used to destroy your enemies, but unmastered, it can destroy you instead. Naruto replied sagely. I think I understand what you mean, but how can you even be sure that my power really is sealed away? What if I'm just weak? Diana asked self-consciously, Naruto laughing openly at Diana's response, which didn't do much for her self-confidence. Why are you laughing? Diana asked with a hurt tone. Lady Diana, you are many things, many things, but weak is absolutely not one of those things. I've seen your battles on TV, I've read reports about them too. I have even physically been to some of them, or at least my recon clones have, and trust me, nothing about you even remotely resonates with the word weak. Naruto said with absolute conviction. You have recon clones? Diana asked, surprised. Heh, you don't miss anything do you? Here I am complimenting you and all you can think about are my recon clones. Naruto retorted. I'm sorry, and thank you, for complimenting me. It means a lot to me. Diana said sincerely. No need to apologize, that was also another compliment. It is good that you do not miss anything, it's part of what makes you such a great warrior. Naruto retorted. Thank you. Diana said with a dazzling smile. My pleasure. Naruto replied. In any case, to answer your question about how I know that your power is also sealed, the answer is that I do not know for sure. However, finding out is rather easy for me. Naruto said as he took a closer look at Diana, Diana somehow resisting the urge to jump up to her feet in shock as she stared at the blonde Uzumaki with fear and concern in her eyes. Nathaniel. Something's wrong with your eyes. They just turned metallic gray, and they have rings around the pupils. Diana exclaimed. Do not worry, this is just my power, at least one of them. I call it the Rinnegan. It's a jujutsu that gives me visual prowess, such as telescopic vision, microscopic vision, infrared vision, 360-degree vision, X-ray vision, ultraviolet vision, precognition vision and many other forms of visual prowess, such as the ability to perceive and discern magical, cosmic, and metaphysical energies. Naruto replied. What? That sounds like it's even better visual prowess than Superman. Diana exclaimed in surprise. Well, I don't know the full extent of Superman's visual prowess, so I really cannot say, but I can say that I was right after all, because there is a seal on the inside of your bracelets. Right now, I'd say you only have access to between 65 and 70% of your full power. Also, the sealing matrix is lightning-based and is constructed with celestial magic, so it was probably put there by Zeus himself. Naruto explained in detail. Lord Zeus? But why would he do that to me? Diana asked with a hurt tone and facial expression. Don't be offended. My own mother sealed my power too, but not to punish me or to make me weak, but in order to protect and hide me from dark side. Zeus probably had similar reasons for doing what he did to you. Naruto explained as his eyes went back to their normal ocean blue, much to Diana's relief as she honestly found Naruto's Rinnegan to be terrifying and intimidating. I see, then he probably did it to hide me from Ares. Diana thought out loud. Ares the god of war? That is one of his sons, yes? Why would he feel the need to hide you from your own brother? Naruto asked curiously. Ares has become power-hungry. He seeks to spark wars for no reason other than to feed his own power and lust. He is dangerous and is an enemy of the Amazons who Zeus created in order to fight for peace, truth, and justice. Diana replied. I see. Then you yourself must be a failsafe. Maybe Zeus cannot bring himself to kill his own child, and is counting on you to kill Ares if the need ever arises. I mean, there are other Olympians I suppose such as Hercules, Apollo, Athena, Hermes, etc., but none of them, except maybe Hercules, have the kind of battle prowess and experience that an Amazon-born goddess would have. Naruto pondered. They may not have the skills of an Amazon, but they have far more experience than I do, and they were presumably trained by Lord Zeus himself. It doesn't make sense that Zeus would rely on me instead of any one of the others. Diana retorted. I get what you mean, but the fact is that he hid you from Ares and sealed your power. That implies that he sees you as some kind of trump card. If not to kill Ares, then at least to protect the Amazons from him.by killing him. Naruto replied. I see. Diana said with a small frown, not liking the idea of killing her own brother, even if she didn't know him personally, but nevertheless vowing to do what needed to be done if it meant protecting her mother and sisters. So I won't need to breathe anymore, or eat, or sleep at all when my full power is released? Diana asked excitedly, deciding to steer the conversation back to where it was originally supposed to be headed. Well, yeah. You probably do not need to eat or sleep that much already though. Naruto replied. I don't. I can't even remember the last time I slept, about 3 weeks ago probably, and I only have to eat about once every other week. Diana replied. See, almost there. You'll be dancing in the vacuum of space in no time at all. Naruto replied lightheartedly, causing Diana to involuntarily burst out laughing as the two of them continued to strengthen their bond throughout the journey, although one thing was bothering Naruto deep at the back of his mind, which was that why did Diana, a magical being, not seem to know any magical spells or techniques? Yes, he understood that she possessed magical items like the bracelets, the lasso, her armor, and even her sword and shield, and she was very proficient in using them even if he had to say so himself. However, if she were to complement her amazing physical abilities and skill with sorcery. She would become so much stronger, even with some of her power sealed away. So why then had she not bothered to learn sorcery? Why had the Amazons not taught her? Did they not have sorcerers? That didn't seem all that possible though. Even humans have powerful and skilled sorcerers, so it didn't make sense for a race of magical beings not to have any. Or was there no one willing to teach her? Did she not have an interest whatsoever in the arts? No, it couldn't be, she didn't seem like the type to waste talent like that. So what was it then? She has the potential to surpass even Fate, Captain Marvel, and Superman and doesn't even realize it. Naruto thought, only to be broken from his thoughts by the angelic sound of Diana's voice. You used your powers just now, to evaluate my bracelets of submission. I guess that means that Lobo's power suppressors neither work on my celestial magic or your cosmic energy. Diana said with a naughty smile. Shhhh, don't let him know that. Naruto said humorously, the two gods laughing together at Lobo's expense. Besides, a ninja never does anything without at least several backup plans. Even if his power suppressors worked on beings like us, I would have still been able to get us out of these cuffs and these cells without much difficulty. Naruto added. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. It's really nothing, just. Naruto asked curiously. I just love the way you hold firmly to your upbringing and the teachings that were imparted to you by your ninja clan. It reminds me of me, my upbringing, and the teachings of the Amazons. It is nice to be in the company of a kindred spirit. I do not think I have ever had that since I left Themyscira, and even there, I was the half Amazon half gods, so I wasn't exactly like everyone else. But with you, I feel like we are two sides of the same coin, like our meeting was and is a fated encounter. Diana said warmly, referring to the fact that Naruto was also of two worlds seeing as he was a half meta-human half new god, while she on the other hand was half Amazon half old god. I see. Was all Naruto could master. The words stuck in his throat as he was a little overwhelmed by the trust and affection that was already developing between him and Diana. Of course, Naruto knew why things were developing so fast. Not to say Diana was desperate, but the hole in her heart was quite obvious. The yearning to know true companionship had been left unattended for too long, and the opportunities for her to find such a precious gift were few and far between, given that, well, Naruto was probably the only person she had ever met who could truly understand her, and having met such a person after such a long time waiting, understandably she wasn't going to let the opportunity to explore this phenomenon pass her by that easily. Another reason Naruto figured that things were progressing so fast, at least emotionally, was due to the situation that they found themselves in. Extreme circumstances like this cause extreme emotional activity in the mind and the spirit, and as a result, situations like this tend to strip people of all their mental walls and emotional defenses and reveal a person's true character, which causes people to bond quickly over the shared experience. There was no doubt in Naruto's mind that he was physically attracted to her, and there was no doubt that he liked and trusted her to a certain extent. After all, being a telepath, an empathy, and a sage who can pick up physical and spiritual energies, he had been able to almost instantly discern the sincerity and honesty of Diana's intentions, and of course, the purity of her heart and soul. The only problem was that he was still in love with Supergirl, something that Diana was obviously aware of, but seemed not to care nonetheless about. Sure, she had told him that she just wanted to be a friend to him, and she had meant it as far as Naruto could tell, but the way things were going, it seemed rather impossible that things would stay platonic as far as Naruto could tell. Therefore, Naruto's final assessment was that Diana was a very instinctive person. She didn't try to rationalize or theorize situations, but rather she was someone who followed her heart and her instincts. Where others would use logic and rationale to make decisions about such matters, or any matter actually, Diana on the other hand simply followed her heart and her instincts, and didn't seem to be affected or care much about the opinions of others. It's probably why she is such a great hero, I guess. Her purity of heart, and her commitment to listening to and following that heart is what makes her such a great champion of justice. However, Kara is similar to her in that aspect, which makes me wonder, Could I be making the same mistake as I did with Kara by allowing her to get close? Will she be able to reconcile her beliefs with my way of doing things? Or will her warrior background and upbringing even her out? Naruto pondered deeply. Are you alright? Diana asked with concern. What? Naruto asked dumbly. You drifted off for a moment, like you were in deep thought about something. Is it her? Supergirl, I mean. Do you miss her? Diana asked curiously. Well, yeah, I guess. But I wasn't thinking about her. I guess I was kinda thinking about her, but mostly about that moment. Naruto stammered, causing Diana to release a soft, angelic giggle at the blonde Uzumaki's expense. What? Naruto asked with a curious frown. Nothing, it's a little reassuring to know that even the great Kitsune the sage god can get flustered. In that little moment, there was no difference whatsoever between you and a flustered teenage boy. Diana laughed. Women don't break these cuffs and come over there. I'm warning you, no one has better tickling hands than I do. Naruto said playfully. And here I thought your hands were good for something a little more than tickling, but I suppose it cannot be helped, you being such a young god and all. Diana teased, causing Naruto to freeze in place as his mind blanked out for a moment, lust, desire, wonder, and excitement all taking root in his mind and body and growing rapidly. 20 minutes earlier, planet Earth. Don't be alarmed, don't make any unnecessary moves, and don't make a sound, and speak only in your mind and not out loud because you're being watched. Kara heard an all too familiar voice in her head, and would have jumped up and started shouting despite the warnings if the person speaking in her head hadn't temporarily taken control of her mind. What the heck, Naruto-ku? I mean, Nathaniel. What do you think how the hell are you even doing this? Why can't I control my body? Kara mentally exclaimed. As I already said, you're being watched. Naruto replied simply. By who? And why do you care? What do you want from me? Kara asked stubbornly, feeling weird about seeing her body move around and doing city patrol with her only being a passenger for the ride. By Batman and Martian Manhunter. I, on the other hand, or rather, my other shadow clone, is being watched by the question. Naruto replied. What? Why? Why on earth would they be watching us? Barb Batgirl. Did she betray? And no way. She wouldn't. She's my best friend. Kara said in denial. Wow, you really figured that out quickly. I'm impressed. You really would make a great kunoichi, you know that. Naruto said earnestly. A kunoichi? That's a female ninja, right? I dunno, Naruto-K. Nathaniel, I'm not a fan of assassins, and I'm not sure I appreciate you comparing me to one. Kara said with displeasure. It was meant as a compliment, but nonetheless, given your background and your belief system, I suppose I understand why the compliment might not be received well. Naruto replied calmly. Anyway, I do not know if Barbara Gordon would or wouldn't betray you, but at least I know she didn't betray you this time. Batman is keeping tabs on her. He has a video recording of probably every single conversation you have had with Barbara, at least, every single one you two have had while she was in her Batgirl costume. Naruto replied. Oh my god, that controlling, dastardly prick. Kara mentally screamed, anger and hate at the forefront of her emotions, that is of course, until it was completely replaced with realization and suspicion. Wait a minute. How do you know that? How do you even know Batgirl's real name? Kara asked suspiciously. Don't be ridiculous, Kara-chan, how many times have I told you that I am a ninja? Naruto asked rhetorically. I guess Batman and Manhunter aren't the only ones spying on me. Kara said venomously. No different from you. You were spying on me just yesterday. Naruto retorted. I wasn't spying on you. PSHHT. Like, why would I want to spy on you? I'm like totally over you. Kara said, the most unconvincing lie Naruto had ever heard in his life. Sure, okay, I guess you just blasted my window and gave me and Diana a look straight out of the grudge for no reason then. Naruto said, mentally rolling his eyes at his ex-girlfriend. Fuck off, Naruto. You know what, Go eat Diana's gigantic Amazon pussy for all I care. I don't want or need you, you got that? Kara said furiously. Martian Manhunter just tried to read your mind. I've blocked off your mind from outside interference, of course, so that no other telepath can hijack our frequency. The problem is that now he knows that you are communicating with another telepath, or he thinks that someone is controlling you, which of course is true. Naruto said, completely ignoring Kara's outburst, which probably would have sent her off the rails if it wasn't for the gravity of the situation. Shit. What are we going to do now? Kara asked warily. She would never admit it, but she didn't want the conversation with Naruto to end. She hated him more than anyone else in the world right now, but she also loved him more than anyone else in the world. If she were honest with herself, she wanted nothing more than to run back into his arms, or for him to come running back to her and do everything in his power to win her back, promise her he would change and become a better person, become a hero like her. It was the reason why she hadn't even bothered to try and wrestle control of her body back from him, because as long as he was controlling her body, then they could talk like this forever, even if it was only her just venting her anger and taking out her frustrations on him. So the thought of the Martian Manhunter interfering with their little setup really had her terrified, because she was really afraid that Naruto would just disappear from her life entirely. Relax, it's rather simple. I will hand over control back to you, and once I do, you will fly at your max speed in the direction exactly northeast from here for exactly 6,000 miles, upon which you will make a 90-degree turn and fly at the same speed for exactly 5,500 miles, and then stop. When you stop, you will be just a few meters from where I am, Naruto explained. What the hell, Nar Nathaniel? Won't they just follow me? Kara asked incredulously. Negative. Your top flying speed is Mach 4.5, Manhunter's top flying speed is Mach 3.5, just a bit faster than the fastest jet on planet Earth, and he has a much slower acceleration speed compared to you, so it takes longer to reach his top speed. Batman's aircraft is even slower, so it will be impossible for them to follow your trail if you follow my instructions to the ladder. Naruto explained patiently. Oh, I see. That's actually very impressive. I mean, it's very suspicious how you know our exact top speeds and acceleration speed, but I guess it has proven to be quite useful this time around. Kara replied. That's actually a far better response than I expected, but nevertheless, timing is essential. Go as soon as you have control over your body. 3, 2, 1. Naruto trailed off as Supergirl took off at her top speed, following Naruto's instructions to the ladder, and consequently, by the time Batman and Manhunter could react, and by the time Batman had gotten inside his aircraft, Supergirl had already reached her destination, and even Manhunter could no longer follow her trail, especially since Naruto had already teleported Kara and he to his Kamui dimension. This is a replica of my penthouse, Naruto replied. So we're not inside your penthouse? Kara asked confusedly. No, we are somewhere else entirely. Naruto replied simply, Kara eyeing him up and down as she realized that he was wearing his kitsune outfit, except without the headgear, not used to seeing Naruto like this period, but especially inside his penthouse, which was where she always found him in his formal business clothes. Okay, let's get this over with, Kara said as she threw herself on the couch. So what is it going to be? Goodbye sex? Breakup sex? Or a meaningful and mature conversation that will give us both the closure that we need? Kara asked half seriously and half sarcastically. There is no way I'm letting you get me pussy whipped all over again, Naruto said as he too sat down on the opposite side of his ex-girlfriend, Kara unable to help but to giggle involuntarily at Naruto's response, having forgotten just how insufferable and yet funny and adorable his blunt and quite frankly ridiculous responses could be. I can get you pussy whipped anytime I want, in fact, I know you're still whipped like cream in a cup. But I can't go back there with you. I can't. You're a merciless killer, a murderer even. You're probably a villain, in fact, you definitely are one, Kara said in despair. Yeah, about that. What exactly makes me a villain? I mean, apart from being an assassin, of course, Naruto asked with a quirked eyebrow. Are you kidding me? You attacked a government facility, mind-raped and brainwashed everyone, and stole government people. You collaborated with an evil meta-human demon sorcerer hybrid and stole classified information from a government official, driving her mad in the process. Let's not forget that you mind-wiped one of their scientists too. Does that sound heroic to you? Kara asked incredulously. No, not at all. But there are always two sides to a story. Another person might say that I was attacked by a government official, who threatened to kill the woman I love as a way of controlling me. I thereby acted out of love in driving her mad so that she wouldn't have the capacity to hurt my loved one. The demonic meta-human sorcerer hybrid I collaborated with was being tortured and used as a slave and a weapon against her will. I liberated her and gave to her the constitutional right of freedom and equality. Let us not forget to mention that the government facility I attacked was kidnapping and experimenting on children and then turning them into weapons to be used against the Justice League. Honestly, Kara, who really is the villain here? Well, don't bother to answer, because I know that you already know the answer to that. After all, if you thought I really was a villain, you would have apprehended me already, and if you felt you couldn't do it yourself because you saw my power and skill against Lobo, or because of your feelings for me, then you would have at least gotten Superman or even the Justice League involved. Naruto said with only the blunt honest truth as his agenda. You didn't do any of these things though, did you? Why? Do you know what I think? Naruto asked rhetorically. What? Kara stuttered, finding it hard to take the truth when it was being so harshly thrown at her, but nevertheless having no choice but to listen as there was nowhere to run or hide. I think you're scared. You're scared of facing the truth about the powers that be, because if you do, you will have to acknowledge the government as your enemy. And if the government becomes your enemy, and you start fighting against them, you'll have to have a plan for who will lead once you dethrone the government, and you might possibly lose the fanatic love of National City, the US as a whole, and others of the world. After all, you're an alien, and the people might not want to be ruled and governed by an alien, even if she has their best interests at heart. That would hurt you, wouldn't it? After all, you just want to be loved, you just want to fit in. Losing another home would. Naruto trailed off, deciding to stop right there as he saw just how much stress he was putting on Kara as she looked like she was about to have a mental breakdown. I'm sorry. Naruto said as he sat next to Kara, pulling her into his arms and holding her tight in his arms, Kara initially resisting him but ultimately surrendering to his touch, surrendering to her need for comfort, and surrendering to her feelings. If only for the moment, as they stayed like that for the next 15 minutes before Kara spoke up. So that's your plan? Destroy the government and replace them? That no matter your reasons, that just sounds tyrannical and villainous. How many people will you kill to reach your goal? What happens to those who resist or outright defy your rule? How many corpses will lay at your feet? Kara asked with concern. I don't intend to kill anyone who doesn't attack me first. I only kill in self-defense or the defense of others, and in terms of my defense of others, only innocent others and loved ones. I would never kill for the sake of an evil man or woman, at least I do not think I would anyway. Naruto replied sincerely. You do not think you would? Yeah, okay, that's so reassuring. Kara said sarcastically, rolling her eyes at the blonde new god. Instead of trying to vilify me, why don't you look at the real villains around you? Martian Manhunter tried to mind rape you, and would have had I not been there to stop him. Batman has been spying on you too, and consistently violates your best friend's right to privacy. Your government is kidnapping and experimenting on children and is concocting plans to destroy the Justice League and plans to destroy you personally. You need to take a good, long hard look at yourself, the people around you, and the people that run your country, because that is where the threats are. Naruto retorted. I want to go home. I don't want to ever see you again. I mean it this time. I know my words might not carry much weight after I spied on you and Wonder Woman, but that was a moment of weakness, one that I will not repeat. Besides, how can I believe a word you say when you either have been cheating on me the whole time or only needed 2 days to replace me? Kara retorted. I told you nothing happened between Diana and I. She heard and watched the recording Batman made of yours and Batgirl's conversation and came to find out the truth from the source's mouth. I don't care for your excuses. Kara exclaimed, finally gathering the strength to completely detach herself from her ex's arms. I don't want to hear it, okay? Coming here was a mistake. It's going to take a while to get over you, I know that now, but I won't give up until I do, because my decision is final. I don't want to be with someone who I don't want to be with someone like you. Kara said with tears in her eyes. I know. You seem dead set in your ways, as am I unfortunately. However, at the very least, let me put a mind barrier on you, to prevent people like Manhunter from reading your mind. That won't be necessary. Kara quickly interrupted before Naruto could finish speaking. I'm going straight to Cal's place when I leave this place. I'm going to tell Kal what Batman and Martian Manhunter are up to. I'm sure they'll stop once he talks to them. He'll be angry when he hears what they tried to do to me. Kara replied with unshakable trust and faith in her cousin. It's a good idea, I approve. But I would still feel much better if... The answer is no, Nathaniel. Kara said with an edge to her tone, Naruto realizing in that moment that the only way he was going to place that mind barrier on her is if he did it by force. Okay, I guess I'll take you home then. Naruto trailed off, unable to help but to feel a sense of déjà vu as this moment seemed awfully familiar. How long can she stay in denial though? How long can she keep lying to herself and subjugating herself to a false reality? Is the blissful lie really that important to her that she would sacrifice everything for it? Naruto pondered as he teleported he and Kara out of his Kamui dimension, certain at this point that only Kara could make herself see the truth right in front of her, and that as long as she refused to see it, that there was nothing he or anyone else could do to change her mind. Later, unknown planet in Sector 667. So, you crash-landed? Interesting. Naruto said, now having his kitsune mask back on after he and Diana broke out of their restraints in order to be prepared for whatever the hell was happening. Interesting. Carrie. Are you a fraggin' idiot? What's interesting about that? And the main man doesn't crash-land. My ship was attacked, see, the glowing mother fraggin' fairies attacked us. Lobo said angrily, pointing an accusing finger at the three individuals that were floating above them. I dunno, they look more like fireflies to me. Naruto retorted with a thinking pose. Fairies, fireflies, it's all the same if you ask the main man. Lobo retorted. No one is asking you, fortunately. And no, those are not fireflies or fairies, those are members of the Green Lantern Corps. They are basically the police officers of, well, the universe. Given the company we're keeping, namely, you, Lobo, then it really isn't that much of a surprise that we have been attacked by them. You probably have a long list of offenses and consequently, a large number of bounties on your head. Diana replied eloquently. Ha ha ha. And you poor fraggin' idiots have no choice but to help the main man escape justice, that is to say, if you bastitches want to ever know where to find Big Barda and Mr. Miracle. Lobo retorted. Great police officers of the universe. I am Nathaniel Wilson, also known as Kitsune the Toad Sage. These are my colleagues Diana of Themyscira, also known as Wonder Woman of the Justice League of Planet Earth, and Lobo the Bounty Hunter, also known as the Main Man. Naruto introduced himself and his comrades. We are on a mission of the utmost importance, and we were just wondering why it is that you shot down our ship. Given the damage done to the ship, it kind of gives off the impression that you were trying to kill us. If we were not as special as we are, we would have surely died. So what the hell? Naruto asked, incredulity, a little agitation also slipping into his tone at the end. Not that you worms deserve the honor of me introducing myself to you, but I am Thel Sinestro of the Green Lantern Honor Guard. These are my colleagues Budaka and Ardakian Troll. The sole male figure of the three, now identified as Sinestro, introduced himself. He has red skin and a rather sizable forehead, and seems to be in good physical condition, not too buff and not too lean either. Based on his tone of voice and demeanor, one could easily tell that he has a very strong military background, and of course, he is wearing the traditional black and green uniform of the Green Lantern Corps. The woman on his right, Budaka, is a very beautiful, fit, and sexy woman possessing silver gray hair and purple eyes. Her beauty is only matched by her sex appeal, which are both extremely high, and she is wearing the Green Lantern uniform as well, form-fitting as it is. The woman on Sinestro's left-hand side, Ardakian Troll, looks like a cross-hybrid species between a humanoid species and an animal species, as she possesses a long, thick, and strong-looking tail, has long, pointy ears at the top of her head, and has werewolf-like legs. However, other than that, her body looks even more voluptuous than Budaka's body, causing Naruto to wonder how much fighting they really needed to do to complete missions, as their looks alone seemed to be enough to subdue most men. It is a pleasure to meet you, Thul Sinestro, Budaka, and Ardakian Troll. As a member of the Justice League of Planet Earth, I am partner and comrade to two Green Lanterns. Their names are Hal Jordan and John Stewart. They are respectable and noble men, great heroes, as I suspect you as well are. Diana said with earnest. We're supposed to care about this because? Sinestro asked condescendingly. She means to say that if you can contact either of Hal Jordan or John Stewart, then they can vouch for her honor and strength of character. Naruto retorted, not liking at all the negative emotions radiating in waves off of this particular guy. We have no way of contacting them all the way from frontier space, but even if we did, it wouldn't matter. Nobody enters or leaves the Forgotten Zone. It's for your own good, and everyone else's. Sinestro said with finality. The Guardians erected an indestructible barrier that seals and barricades the Forgotten Zone from the rest of the universe, so in essence, we just saved your lives. You should be thanking us instead of defying us. Budaka said with a calm and eloquent tone, her accent not quite the same but reminding Naruto of how a polished British accent would sound like, at least that was the closest comparison he could get. So you saved our lives by trying to kill us? Naruto asked incredulously, Budaka at least having enough shame to be flustered by Naruto's retort. We may have been a little harsh in our approach, but if you knew what horrors lie in the Forgotten Zone, you would not judge us so harshly for the actions we have taken. Ardakian said with a strong but unmistakably feminine tone of voice. Enough of this charade. More than enough of our time has been wasted here. Head back to where you came from, or die. It's really that simple. We have the authority to use lethal force if necessary when it comes to this particular matter. Sinestro said angrily. You do not understand. Nathaniel's mother might be. No, princess. Do not waste your time, or your energy. This man will not yield, nor can he be persuaded. The only way we're getting past them is through brute force, or I suppose we could teleport away if the main man were forthcoming with Mr. Miracle's coordinates. Naruto said, directing that last part at his notorious kidnapper. The main man ain't forthcoming with not a frag of faces for no one. You either let the main man take you there, or the main man kills you and takes you there anyway. Lobo replied testily. Okay, fine. I do have one question though, how on earth did you get to the Forgotten Zone in the first place? Even if it wasn't these three in particular, there must have been at least another squad that would have stopped you going there. What made you get caught this time? Naruto asked suspiciously. The main man was minding his own business when a portal went boom right in front of me and took me to that fraggin' hellscape known as the Forgotten Zone. Lobo retorted. Of course. You were boomed there and back with a boom tube. It makes a perfect amount of sense actually now that I think about it. Naruto said as realization dawned on him. That they didn't offer to boom him back must mean that they didn't expect him to succeed in his mission. He was just a means to test me, first by defeating him, and secondly, by seeing if I would be able to track them down to the Forgotten Zone. Essentially, this could mean that my plan to get myself fake kidnapped is doomed to fail if they already didn't expect me to lose to Lobo in the first place. I might have underestimated Mr. Miracle after all. Naruto thought analytically. Fine then. I got dibs on face shield for it over there. Lobo, you take Ardakian and Wonder Woman will take on Budaka. Naruto ordered. Lethal force it is then, just like the forward bozo said. Lobo said excitedly. What? No. Those are Green Lanterns. We cannot kill them. Diana exclaimed. If we do not kill them, they will have our names posted all over the universe as dangerous intergalactic criminals. I cannot imagine that would be good for your reputation both as an individual superhero and as a member of the Justice League. Besides, they already tried to kill us, and made it clear that they would try again if we tried to go to Sector 666. Naruto retorted. Yeah, plus Kizi fam carries a sword and a shield. Your main weapon is a sword, but you're scared of getting a little blood on your hands. Lobo asked incredulously. I'm an Amazon warrior, no group of people know what it means to shed blood more than our great warrior race. But it has to be not only for a just cause, but also, the blood that is shed has to deserve the taste of our blade. I am not convinced that these noble protectors are deserving of death. Diana said passionately. That sounds a lot like a you problem. The main man has no reservations about shedding the blood of any bastiches who get in his way. Lobo said with his nose in the air and his arms crossed over his chest, Diana giving him an incredulous look before looking to Naruto for support, causing the blonde Uzumaki to shake his head in dismay. Okay, maybe we can make a compromise then. No killing of the green fireflies, but maiming, and brutal punishment to the brink of death is totally and unequivocally permissible. Naruto said with a sinister undertone. That's not what I... Wonder Woman trailed off as she was cut off by Lobo's boisterous laughter. Ahahahaha. I like the way you think, you little basic. Maiming and beating the crap out of some punks until near death it is then. Lobo said excitedly. Great. I'm glad we could. Naruto trailed off as Sinestro came flying at Mach 3.6 speed, which was quite an impressive speed Naruto had to say, especially with how quickly he managed to reach that speed. Most people would have been split into minced meat if a powerful entity like Sinestro came at them with that speed. However, Naruto was no normal opponent, because not only was he a meta-human god hybrid, but he was also arguably the most powerful of his kind. Which is why he was able to not only sense and react to Sinestro, but was effectively able to guard against the Green Lantern from Korugar. Don't look so surprised. Did you really think your little firefly ring made you a god or something? Let me guess, nobody has ever successfully guarded against that attack before? At least, no one who didn't also have their own little firefly ring. Naruto taunted. Big words for someone who just got pushed 3 miles away from guarding a simple head-on strike. Sinestro grunted as he tried to sweep the demon-masked Uzumaki from right under his feet, Naruto however seeing right through the attack as he jumped up and flew away, successfully creating some distance between him and his opponent. What? Naruto asked, cocking his head to the side as he tried to analyze the baffled expression on Sinestro's facial features. Oh hehe. You're surprised because I'm flying? Just how sheltered from the world are you fireflies anyway? Did you really think that only firefly ring-wielding people could fly? Naruto asked condescendingly. Oh, and for your information, I allowed myself to be pushed 3 miles away, dumbass. I didn't want any of us getting in each other's way. I wanted you all to myself. You should feel honored, Commander and General of the Green Lantern Corps Sinestro. Naruto said half seriously and half sarcastically, Sinestro's eyes narrowing suspiciously as realization dawned on him. I don't recall mentioning that I was the army commander of the Green Lantern Corps. You already knew who I was, how? And why did you pretend you did not know of me before? Sinestro asked warily. The stakes had just become much higher, because Sinestro knew that his reputation as the strongest Green Lantern and as the general and commander of the entire Green Lantern Legion had never meant more than it did now. As commander, and as the strongest Green Lantern, losing was not an option for him. If he lost, the entire reputation of the Green Lantern Corps would take a massive hit, especially if word spread across the universe about his loss. It was the reason he was so harsh and ruthless, at least part of it anyway. His understanding was that the entire universe needed to fear not only his name but that of the entire Green Lantern Corps. People needed to be struck and paralyzed by fear at the mere mention of his and the Corps' name, otherwise they would never be able to establish and maintain order in the universe. That applied more so to powerful beings like the one in front of him, because those 2 exchanges alone were enough for Sinestro to know that this battle was not going to be an easy one. They needed to not only defeat and kill these people, but also to parade their victory to the rest of the universe, especially when it involved someone as notorious as Lobo. I keep tabs on the entire universe, of course, at least, the entire third world. I've also had some high-profile missions here and there, but mostly covered in discreet stuff, nothing flashy. A real ninja doesn't seek glory but lingers in the shadows. He is at his best when no one knows about his existence. Naruto replied, causing Sinestro's suspicions and trepidation to increase even further. Pretty braggadocious words for someone who wishes to remain in the shadows. Sinestro said condescendingly. Come now Sinestro, we both know you'll do everything in your power to hide the fact that you were defeated today. It wouldn't be good for neither yours or the Corps' reputation if word got out. Naruto aired a reflection of Sinestro's thoughts. You act as if you have already won this battle. That arrogance will lead to your downfall, and my victory. Sinestro exclaimed as he charged at the blonde Uzumaki again, this time creating a green death cannon at the center of his chest and firing rapidly as he charged, analyzing the blonde Uzumaki's movements as he tried to get a read on his patterns. However, instead of dodging the cannon's energy blasts, Naruto was content to just swat them away with the back of his left hand, much to Sinestro's surprise as he didn't expect his attacks to be so easily deflected. Nevertheless, that did not deter him as he moved at Mach speed once again in order to physically assault the blonde Uzumaki, sonic booms reverberating all around the atmosphere of the uninhabited planet as the two warriors repeatedly clashed in the sky. The battle seemed to go on forever, but in reality it was only 20 minutes of intense combat. Initially it seemed like the two foes were evenly matched, but as time went it became clear that one was superior to the other, as Sinestro started taking more and more heavy damage, whereas Naruto had yet to concede a single clean hit on his person, having dogged, blocked, and deflected every single one of the Koroguran's attacks. I see now. It appears that only the damage you have taken is slowing you down, but not fatigue. As long as your ring has energy you will not tire or run out of strength to fight. That is a most impressive weapon indeed. Naruto said in awe. But it is slow to heal injuries, although it does seem to clot your blood quickly in order to prevent excessive bleeding, and I've noticed that the energy allows you to subconsciously create reinforcement for damaged body parts, like for instance your fractured right forearm and your left shin. Truly a marvelous work of art is that Firefly ring. Naruto said earnestly, although Sinestro absolutely did not appreciate the sentiment as to him, it sounded like he was being mocked, and understandably so, one had to say if they were being honest. You dare mock me, you insignificant ant. Sinestro said as he shot a blast of green energy at the demon-masked bounty hunter, or would have, if he still had his ring, his eyes widening as nothing came out of his ring after he willed it to fire a concentrated blast of plasma energy. Staring in shock at his empty ring finger before his eyes quickly snapped in the Toad Sage's direction, eyes widening even further as Sinestro realized that the Sage God was somehow able to move in, pull his ring out of his finger, and fly back to his original position. In what had to have been 1/100th of a second. I am possible. Sinestro said in shock, looking in horror at the ring that Kitsune the Sage God was holding in the palm of his glove, Sinestro instantly trying to will it back but unable to do that as some kind of barrier seemed to be erected around the ring. The ring smashing against the barrier as it tried to go back to its wielder but with no success at all. This is probably the most glaring flaw to your power. I suppose most of your opponents are so overmatched that they couldn't pry out your ring even if they tried. Even the strong ones are probably not fast enough to pry it out of your fingers during battle, or even skilled enough for that matter. This is definitely something you should work on improving. Naruto said sagely. Why am I not falling? Sinestro said with a slight stutter, internally cursing himself for showing any hint of fear or weakness to an enemy. Oh yeah, I was just holding you up so that I can give you some advice. I'm done lecturing you now, so happy falling. Naruto said as he released the gravity field that he was using to hold up Sinestro, the Koroguran falling helplessly to the ground and hitting the surface with a loud thud and a few cracks, breaking multiple bones all across his body. Ouch. That's going to hurt in the morning. Naruto said as he released Sinestro's ring, thereby allowing it to go back to its user. After all, he couldn't let the guy die. He'd promised Diana that there would be no killing of the green fireflies. 10 minutes later. It seems like the battle is over. This would be the point where you yield, Ardakian. Naruto said matter-of-factly. Ardakian Troll was a great warrior, Naruto could not deny that, and he was sure that even Lobo must have had a great deal of respect for her. She was the last one standing, her courageous and powerful leader Lam defeated, her other superior, Budaka, also defeated by Wonder Woman, and yet there she was, fighting valiantly, determination shining in her eyes. They say respect is earned, and Ardakian, in Naruto's book, had done more than enough to earn it, especially when she kept on fighting despite losing both her legs in the battle, using her ring energy to stop the bleeding and to create energy prosthetics. How she could endure all that pain and continue to fight a sadist like Lobo was something straight out of legendary tales of warriors. Another positive warrior point for Ardakian was that Lobo had also lost both his legs in the battle, but had already regenerated them and was busy regenerating his left arm now. To have taken Lobo that far showed just how powerful and skilled she was, as not even Supergirl had been able to deal that kind of damage to Lobo, although admittedly, skill-wise and experience-wise, Supergirl was likely far too lacking to handle a guy like Lobo. Green Lanterns do not yield. We fight for truth and justice until the end. Ardakian said passionately. A noble sentiment. However, and please be honest, what percentage of a chance would you say you have of succeeding now that both Sinestro and Boudica have been put out of commission? Naruto asked rhetorically, knowing that the chances of Ardakian succeeding here were close to 0%, if not in fact, 0%. To be fair to Ardakian, she actually took the time to analyze the situation and think carefully about her answer, and the results were underwhelming to say the least. Sure, Boudica was not entirely out of commission as she had not sustained any serious injuries but was just subdued by that seemingly inescapable magical lasso, but even if Ardakian were able to free her, she didn't think it would help that much at all because Wonder Woman herself had only sustained minimal injuries which were already almost completely healed. Sinestro was completely out of commission and would only be a liability. In fact, he was already a liability as it was because he would only be a burden in his current state. There was also the fact that Ardakian herself was burning a ridiculous amount of green light in order to maintain her energy prosthetics and also fight such a tough battle. The answer to the question was therefore easy and clear: she had no chance of winning whatsoever. The chances of winning may be non-existent, but I still have the will to fight, and my will is the only weapon that I need. Ardakian said earnestly, Naruto resisting the urge to clap his hands to honor the unbreakable strength of will that Ardakian possessed. I recognize that, Ardakian, and I appreciate it as a fellow warrior. However, what if I could heal and regenerate your legs, and allow you to leave with both Boudica and Sinestro, alive? What would you say to that? Is your will to fight greater than the love you have for your comrades? Would you sacrifice their lives for a mission that is already guaranteed to fail? Naruto asked. Wait, what the? Heal and regenerate? You can regenerate other people? Lobo asked with both curiosity and incredulity. Ah yes, of course this would be a matter of interest for you as an expert on all things concerned with regeneration. Naruto retorted. An expert? The main man is the lead expert on regeneration. Lobo said with an insulted tone. Not if you cannot regenerate others. Anyway, this offer will not stand forever, Ardakian, in fact it will expire in 3, 2, 1. Naruto trailed off as he threw Sinestro to the ground, created a raise-non in his right hand, and motioned as if to slam it into Sinestro's torso. Stopping at the last possible moment as Ardakian called out to him. Wait. Ardakian cried hastily. Just wait. Oh okay, I'll take the deal. Don't kill our leader, please. Ardakian begged. You better not go back on your word. After I heal you and Boudica will take Sinestro and leave. Understood? Naruto demanded. Why yes we will. But if you could you please heal the general too? Ardakian asked with concern for her leader. Negative. If I heal him too we'll be back to square one. The point is to get you out of the way so that we can make our way to Sector 666, so you'll have to find someone else to heal him. Naruto said what should have been obvious as far as he was concerned. Okay, I understand. Ardakian said dejectedly. That's what I wanted to hear. Now get over here. 15 minutes later. Finally, they're gone. Naruto said jovially, having reverse summoned his mask as soon as the Green Lanterns were out of sight. As much as I hate to admit it, but good riddance. Diana added, Naruto smiling warmly at her as he looked her over, just to make sure she was okay, both physically and emotionally. She defeated a Green Lantern honor guard while sustaining minimal damage despite only having access to ±70% of her power. She has incredible talent and skill. The Justice League is lucky to have her. In fact, I envy them. Naruto thought. What is it? Diana asked curiously. Nothing. I was just appraising you, I guess. Naruto replied. I take it by the goofy smile on your face that you like what you see. Diana asked cheekily. Hee. Tell me, princess, what does it say about you that you seem to think so highly of yourself? Naruto retorted. And you think even higher of me, so what does that say about you? Diana retorted with a naughty smirk, causing Naruto's brain to freeze momentarily as he got caught completely off guard by Diana's response. Haha. Hee. Okay, I yield, okay. I yield, you win. Naruto said with his hands in the air. Maybe the next time you yield to me I'll tie you up with my lasso and make you my slave. Diana retorted mischievously. Naruto's getting another brain freeze as images of he and Diana doing role play filtered into his mind. Woman, you'll be the death of me. Naruto said, shaking his head both in dismay and as a subconscious attempt to get rid of the dirty images in his head. You lovebirds better do whatever it is that you want to do to each other back in your cages while I fix the ship. Lobo demanded. It will go faster if we all work together to fix your ship. Naruto retorted. Yeah, no. The main man thinks you should go back to your cages, right now. Lobo said as he pulled out his universal cannon blaster and pointed it at the Diana. Unless you want me to kill her like I almost did your Kizi Kryptonian girlfriend. Lobo said with menace, almost choking on his breath immediately afterwards as a massive amount of sinister intent and pressure suddenly washed over him. Lobo, I'll only give you one warning before I rip out your soul from your body literally. Naruto said with a grave undertone. Did he just say literally? Oh hell no. Lobo thought warily, knowing better than to doubt the power and abilities of the God Sage, and of course, fully aware that regenerating a removed soul was likely beyond even his own abilities. Fine. Whatever. Do what you want. But you better not be thinking about escaping, else the main man will have to start lopping off some limbs. You got that, you basic? Lobo said angrily, nevertheless putting his universal cannon blaster away as he started making his way back towards his ship. Got it. Naruto replied as he followed behind the main man. Even if we fix the ship, how are we going to breach the barrier that the Guardians have put up around Sector 666? Diana asked warily. You leave that one to me. I have a number of methods that I can use for us to breach the barrier. It should not be an issue. Naruto replied simply. Okay, but what about the horrors waiting for us on the other side? Diana asked warily. Yes, about that, I think maybe it is time we removed that power suppression seal of yours. We do not know what Barda and Mr. Miracle want from me, or how powerful they are, and of course, we know nothing of the horrors that lie beyond the barrier. We are all probably going to need all the power that we can get on our side. Naruto replied. I thought you said it was too dangerous to release my power. It was, while we were inside the ship. We are now in an uninhabited planet. It's the perfect time to experiment and train. Naruto retorted. Of course, destroying their mode of transport had not been the only reason Naruto had been delaying the removal of Diana's seal, because the other reason, and most important reason, had been that Diana, as a member of the Justice League, was technically an enemy of his. Seeing as the Justice League had not only attacked him and attempted to mind rape him, but were also actively spying on him and investigating him. It therefore hadn't made sense for him to help her get stronger when she could turn around and use that power against him. However, they were about to go into the Forgotten Zone, a place known to possess an untold amount of horrors. On top of that, they were possibly going to go up against two elite new gods of Apocalypse. In other words, he needed for her to be as strong as she possibly could in order to ensure both of their survival. I have actually been meaning to spar with you. Me and my Amazon sisters used to spar all the time. I cannot wait, this is so exciting. Diana said with almost childlike exuberance, Naruto smiling at her warmly as a result as he grabbed her hand and teleported the both of them into a spiraling portal, leaving 2 shadow clones behind, one of him and one transformed to look like Diana so that Lobo wouldn't be any wiser to what they were up to. That will be it for today. Thanks for watching.